welcome once again to Midnight's Edge After Dark. I'm Tom Connors. With me today is the script doctor. He has the entertainment, the cure for all your entertainment needs. Jeez, I screwed that up right away, didn't I? How you doing, script doctor?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing the best we can, I think. We also have with us Mr. Jesse Miller of the Crow's Nest. How you doing?
Groovy.
Or at the Crow's Nest, I should say.
It's something. There's a poop bucket up there. Just don't come down.
And last, but of course, definitely not least, our one and only Mexican Iron Man, Mike. How you doing, buddy?
Very well, sir. I even wore tonight my shirt to match Jesse here in case I have to come on camera later, so we look like Latino cousin twinsies.
We got almost the same haircut too.
Hey now.
Oh yeah.
So how's everybody's night been, day been, whatever? Hope you guys are doing well out there in the chat. We've got some regulars here, like your Muslim uncle. How you doing? We got Annabelle Sanchez here. We've got Sailor Sonic. We have Six, of course, hanging in there. How you doing? We got Hamdinger. I know, sorry about the wait. We had puppies that needed to go out. Yes, that's right, Dark Shadow. We had puppies that took priority. Yeah, Sadie's not been feeling well lately, so I'm like, I better let her out. She wants to go out, so... Yeah, and then I think Mike, your dogs had to go out too, didn't they?
Yeah. This one here was already. I think this one here thought that we were starting earlier, and then all of a sudden, when it came time to actually start, all of a sudden lost its mind.
Oh yeah, and then we got Mark's 47 here as well. You're not invisible. We see you, and I know we're late. Sorry, Slithering Peanut. And hello, Joshua. How you doing? Rory Mitchell, Stephen Long, all you guys in the chat. K. John Boom, how you been? Oh, we got Vigilante Williamson in the chat. How you doing? Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Suicide Squad trailer. We got some Transformers news. We got people filing in here. So as we're doing that, I'm gonna tell you this. We got some good news anyway. I guess Steven Spielberg was asked about a remake of Jaws.
Oh no! Define the words "good news."
And he definitively said, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So at least in his lifetime, it probably won't happen.
Did they return with, well, how about Schindler's List?
No, I doubt that. I don't even think they'd want to try and remake that. They've been trying to do Jaws for how many years though now?
They'll be like, look, same movie, but make the coat green.
Bro, how many years?
2011, they've been trying to do a more faithful adaptation to the novel.
Well, that's something I've said. I wouldn't be adverse to like a TV miniseries or like a streaming miniseries where it's not a theatrical movie, where you just take the story, do it as the novel, 3-4 parts or whatever. I'd be fine with that.
That'd be a lot more fun to watch because you get more into it. But
well, it's not just
as a set movie, there's no way to do that in the time frame.
Well, not just that.
Better than they did originally, was what I'm saying.
As I've said a million times over, being that Jaws is like my favorite movie. That's one of the few films where the movie is actually better than the book. So I know if they were to do that miniseries would probably be great, but it would never live up to the movie. So... you know, it will just always kind of be this like cool little thing that's there you could have to watch and check out. But I don't know, kind of like the opposite of It, I guess, for some people. I didn't think the new films were all that great, but you know,
I got bored watching the new It because it was just like, I hate to say this, it was too much like the book.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
No.
Well, I mean, they did cut out the one scene in the book that's kind of creepy, but
well,
the creepiest creepy scene, yes.
Well, my main issue with the movie, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, maybe you did, script, because I don't even know if you were around when the movies came out, but my biggest point of contention with both It films, and I said this to Tommy Lee Wallace, who directed the TV movie back in the day, I said, for some reason, it feels like they avoided a lot of the things that he did in that version, so they wouldn't be accused of ripping it off, but in the process, they lost a lot of the setup for a bunch of the payoffs that are in the movie still.
You know what?
Like
they
Beat Richie, the blood, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
The werewolf thing, that was the best part of the book when I read it when I was younger. The ending of that book, terrible. just god awful. It's bad. It's a bad ending to a book.
Well,
that's
Stephen King
1,400 pages long.
Notoriously can't end a story. Like,
yeah,
that's the
I mean,
joke.
he even
I
said like
was
The Mist has a
13 and
better
I
ending
read
than his novel.
1,400 pages of this book, and it ends with him being a space spider.
Mike, did you watch the It films?
I did, and I can't say that I really liked any of them. I really can't. I mean,
Not even
but
the
I
old
never read
ones.
the book either, so I don't know.
Well, that's cool. Some people, I could see it's not their cup of tea, you know. But
I think
yeah,
The Shining had had a more happy ending in the novel than in the film.
Yeah.
well, the end of the original novel is basically the end of Doctor Sleep in the
Right.
movie, and that's how Stephen King won out in the end.
Right.
the ending of the movie is just so good, though, visually.
Well, those
it's
movies work
striking.
well together.
Yeah.
But I do understand when people are like, "Oh, Doctor Sleep undoes The Shining in a lot of ways." I understand that, but The Shining is also a completely different story in the Kubrick version.
It was
Yeah, it
very
really
weird to me, honestly, because it was like this entirely different story that he just happened to be the kid from, the hotel in The Shining in the first one. So now he's just going to bring everybody back here for a can of whoop ass to show how like strong The Shining is.
Well, there's that, but like the other part too is like in the end of the novel, the groundskeeper saves the family, and I think they're on a beach or like on a dock somewhere, and the groundskeeper is going to teach the kid more how to use that power.
Yeah. And see, I know it's had something to do with more of the supernatural elements that King was pissed that Kubrick left out. And Kubrick made the movie as more of a man's dissension into alcoholism, is really what it is.
In
Yeah.
the book,
It's
didn't they
actually
even
part
go
of-
as far as his high school graduation? And his father wasn't there, but then the groundskeeper was either there or his ghost was there, one or the other.
Well, no, the book ends with the kid with little Torrance, still like a kid. I think it's there was a follow-up book that had something of that where he was haunted by the ghost of his father.
All right.
But I can't remember that because again, Stephen King has a lot of books under his belt.
Oh yeah, and he's
gone
got
back
his
to
own
that
little
world
world
a couple of
too.
times. Yeah.
Now, that as far as stories following the original material, the Steven Weber Shining I thought was great for following the books, but everybody shits on it because it wasn't directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Jack Nicholson.
That's a silly reason to crap on a movie. Just
You know what? We should have one of these shows one night. We could do script versus screen, and each of us bring like one or two books versus movies and have that talk. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that could be a long.
that could work. Yeah.
Script versus screen.
Well,
The good,
that's
the
when you
bad,
have
and
the
the ugly.
screenplay and how different it is to the actual film.
So who's bringing Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Oh, God, Forrest Gump. That's
What?
a
Wait,
way
what?
different book than movie.
Look, he was an astronaut with a monkey, and he was also a pro wrestler.
I think that was a sequel book.
I think that's right up your alley.
That was all in the
Jesse.
first one.
That was in the first one.
I didn't read the
remember that in
second
the
one.
first
I was just sitting for that.
That's up your alley, Jesse. You'd be great for that. I think you should bring out a pet monkey just to demonstrate how different is the monkey.
Look, I know how dominant those things are. If you give it a treat one day, it's going to expect that treat forever.
And that's why you should have a monkey, Jesse.
If I had a monkey, it would be like that one with the AK-47. You ever see that clip?
No, Jesse, no.
Gotta give your monkey a suit.
No,
Give him a nice 45.
no.
Treat him with respect.
Okay,
Keep
this
him-
was a bad
keep him
idea.
in
Okay,
cigarettes.
Okay, back to movie trailers.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a movie trailer today, but first we got a super chat here. Thank you so much, Stephen Otten. Says, Hail, Tom, Script, Mike, Jesse, and everyone in the chat. Based on their attitude as of late, I'm not sure we should give Hollywood another effing dime. Well,
Steven.
The people that you can identify who are doing that type of stuff, don't give them your money. But the people that aren't doing that type of stuff and are trying to make some good stuff, maybe, give them a closer look, see what happens, see if you like it. It's like what they're selling, and go that way. But no, you're not wrong when it comes to some of the bigger players spouting off stupid stuff.
And Jesse thinks.
Oh, I was just distracted by the chat. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Stephen King apparently does pop-up books.
yeah. He has a lot of stuff.
That sounds like nightmare fuel.
He also has on his website for $1 you can license some of his stories.
Yeah,
to making
he,
a
dude,
different film.
he is so deep into the licensing game. It's ridiculous.
How does this work?
He has a whole list of stories on his website that for $1 you can license them out and make a movie out of them.
Any of the good ones, or just like randos?
A bunch of them are actually pretty good, but they're not the most iconic of his properties, and
Yeah.
that's for a reason.
Yeah. And we got to
But,
remember, they always
some people
start
have made
good.
some good stuff out of them. I think even his website links to some of the content that has come as a result of it.
I'd like to see a better version of Regulators and Desperation.
I think Regulators is on that list, actually.
Because those books were awesome, because half the cast in one book dies, and then the other half of the cast dies. So you get all these great character interplays.
A lot of them start real good. Just, it's like script saying, you don't know where they're going to end up and go.
So many Stephen King books have disappointed me at the
Or like, who else has like that? M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, yeah. It's a twist.
Shyamalan. So, I don't know.
No, yes, one of the first directors to be anointed the next Steven Spielberg.
Oh, yes, you're right. I forgot about that script. You're right. Back in the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And listen, anytime the media tries to anoint someone as the next something, that person would be very smart to say, do not equate me to someone so much more talented than I am, and just pass it off, because don't get me wrong, I would say Steven Spielberg really does hate. What I have heard is he hates it when other directors come in and the media tries to say that they're going to be the next him. I don't think he likes that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like a kiss of death, right? Isn't it? It's almost like in sports, like the being on the top front cover of the NFL video game, or being in the Campbell Soup commercial, right?
Well, it's basically saying that, when the media does that, it basically says that the person that they're being equated to is no longer a player in the game. And Steven Spielberg is still a player in the game.
Oh, so it's all like because he's the king of the king of directors amongst directors, or the king of kings. By doing that, that's sort of saying that he's like on his way out the door type of thing.
Essentially, and the fact that they started doing that around 25 years ago, when he was still in his relative prime as a director, is pretty insulting. And I mean, this is the guy who's like one of the founding fathers of modern age Hollywood, of like the revival of Hollywood, essentially, in the 70s.
Do directors hang out with each other?
Some, especially if they have a history before they became, names. They do, yeah.
But like if you took like 5 random big famous directors, do you think they just gotta get on each other's nerves, or do you think they'd be friendly and be able to talk a while?
More often than not, a lot of them are friendly with each other, because rarely did like the big name directors go head to head in competition for anything. But they always have their own passion projects, and if they can wow the other directors, like that's a bonus to them all, because it's like, oh man, this guy made a great film. How can I do something better than that? It is more like the mentality. There's not as much animosity. That's usually on your lower levels, on the people who are really desperate because they want the accolades for the wrong reasons.
So you're only allowed to create art once you're old?
Not necessarily. It just means, like there's some young directors out there that admire the generations that came before them and do everything they can to impress. And at the same time, if those young directors do a great film, the older generation will be like, wow, that's really impressive. This guy's on, or this girl's on their way up. How can I do something that's just that good for my next film? And that's kind of like the general relationship of things overall. But if there is some sort of ego bruising or something, then behind the scenes, you're going to have people like, oh, screw that guy or what have you. But rarely that's going to be the case, because again, if you're a working director and you're able to get your stuff produced, you don't really care about anybody else. Like the only thing you care about is like, are they going to give me a good movie as an audience member?
So it's not a lot of walking away going, yeah, I think he's better than me.
I don't know, Jesse, if you're old enough. Do you remember 1994 when they formed what was it, SKG? Was it who was it? Katzenberg and
Spielberg and Geffen.
He was Geffen. You said Geffen.
I think.
Man, that was all the news for a good 5 to 10 years. Remember?
Well, I was just a kid back then.
Our Script Doctor was a little baby. Script Doctor was about
10. I was like 10 years old at that time.
Oh, geez. Okay, never mind.
So I don't have any firsthand experience on that part, but I do remember I do remember like seeing some films that came out in that time frame that were like friendly collaborations.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was before my time. Sometimes I'll hear stories like decades old stories of the industry and whatnot, and that's usually done as like an inspiration thing, just to like keep people's ego and spirits up when crap hits the fan, which often is the case.
See, I kid around, but now you guys know it's for real. Mexican Iron Man is older than the internet and older almost than fire. Definitely older
Okay.
than Cinco de
I'm
Mayo.
definitely older than the internet when it became publicly accessible.
Mexican Iron Man used to have a typewriter in his office.
Now, if anybody's born before 1957 or 58, then you really are older than the internet.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
because that's the private internet from military and universities.
Yep.
All right. Ladies in the chat, don't get scared. Mexican Iron Man was not born in the 50s. Stay tuned. Don't
Mexican Iron
leave.
Man is not a baby boomer.
Yeah, don't
There's
leave.
no way with that hair.
Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer there, ladies. Ladies, don't leave. Someone close the doors. Don't let the ladies leave. Oh, they're leaving. Tom, they're leaving. Bring them back.
No. I think the ladies are still here. I haven't seen anybody.
No, that's because he came back. You're here now. So.
Okay, well, I don't know about that. But now that we got enough people here and we've gotten past Steven Spielberg and Stephen King and any other Stevens we can talk about.
Steven Spielberg.
We all watched the new Suicide Squad trailer, and I think it's no real secret. Real quick, let's go around the bend. I know, Mike, you and I were talking a little bit about it just a little bit ago. You kind of were in agreement with me that first trailer just didn't really wow you much, did it?
Not well. I was expecting to be. First of all, absolutely not. I'm not absolutely wowed. Okay, and it's I had two things to say. One of them is that I didn't know who was directing this. I know I should have known, but it just blanked. The trailer started and it just escaped me. And even right before it said gun, I'm like, this has the vibe of a freaking Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Bam! It says directed by Guardians of the Galaxy, dude.
Yeah.
Good. I totally didn't know who was directing. I know.
Really?
I should have known because I know it's probably come up somewhere in some stream somewhere, but it was just blanked out, And so I watched it and I started watching like, God, this has a feeling of like a cheesy Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But I will tell you this. My second comment is this. I thought I was going to hate the trailer. And while I'm not overwhelmed positively, I'm not completely depressed like I was when I saw the Bird of Prey one or something like that. You know what I mean? So I do think John Cena looks like a weirdo.
And Warwolf became one of our members. Thank you so much. I got to have a member stream this week. I know I'm way behind on doing that.
Oh, I'll do it with you. Let's do it.
Absolutely. That'd be fun. We got the new trailer today. I, too, was not too impressed with its script. How about you? What did you think of the first trailer?
I mean, I like it. I really do like a lot of the cast members.
I was going to say, you actually kind of have a history with this.
Well, yeah, I worked not in a screenwriting capacity, but I worked on some props and some set decorations for the David Ayer Suicide Squad film, which I mean, it was fun to work on. But like what we could see of the scenes and those that were able to read the script, we were not happy with the way the story was going and the tones and all that type of stuff. But this one here's got the James Gunn flair of absurdities and a little bit of like the Troma-esque low-hanging fruit humor that he came from in there. But yeah, it's the Suicide Squad against Starro. And I mean, I'm interested a little, but I'm not overtly impressed by it. I mean, I know a lot of people love Margot Robbie for Harley Quinn. I like Margot Robbie as an actress. I don't think she's good as Harley Quinn. Not at least the iterations that they're giving us on screen. So there's that. Idris Elba's Bloodshot is pretty cool. But again, Bloodshot is basically like another Deathstroke. So it's just a slot in thing. Sly Stallone as King Shark I'm curious what type of performance he's going to give on that one. That's kind of like the only thing that's going to probably make me want to watch is how is Sly Stallone going to play King Shark?
At least as good as Rocky IV.
I hope so.
Which means awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the shark looked pretty good, but I'll tell you who does look ridiculous is John Cena.
He does. He looks like he's wearing a rubber shirt or something.
God, when he came on stage, I mean, I giggled because of the whole China thing, you know,
from the guy's dishwashing.
Oh, he's wearing actually a golf polyester shirt. Oddly enough,
dude, he just looks like a weirdo, dude.
Got some Hobby Lobby foam.
He's playing Peacemaker, he's playing Peacemaker, who is a weirdo, like a big weirdo.
Yeah,
the mask is all shiny, like one of those Halloween store, like Spirit Halloween skull masks.
I mean, I've looked everywhere, and I'm now here in South Carolina, and I cannot find an ammo holster and ammo carrier for my waistband that matches my gloves. I looked everywhere. I could find them in hot pink, but not blue.
It's called spray paint, bro.
Oh. Well, hellfire tarnation.
Yeah. Now, with this trailer, do you notice how light they went on John Cena and how much more they focused on Idris Elba because he hasn't pissed anyone off lately?
Well, this is
actually showed
I think
the
you're reading way too much into this, Jesse. But Jesse, first and foremost, tell us what you thought about the first film, and then the first trailer.
When the first movie came out, they had Ballroom Blitz.
Yeah, well, I meant the trailer, but
that was timed to the music, and it made it feel like the movie was going to be hip. Then we went and saw the movie, and the movie was garbage. It was just garbage. It was trash. Like, what's a memorable scene from that movie? I'm not really sure.
Now, did you watch the first trailer for this movie, though? Not the one that we watched today.
Yeah, I watched the first one, then I watched this one earlier today.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I meant to ask, was how you felt about the first trailer. Sorry.
Yeah, this trailer is much better than the first one, obviously. The first one was just kind of forced humor. What is my cat doing? Sorry about that.
Hello?
Oh, he said something about his cat was doing something. Well, we got a $10 super chat. Holy shit, from Valiant Renegade. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. I seen Vigilante was in here too. It's almost like we gotta have you two. Now that you're both in the chat, I should send you both the
dude, we're gonna get confused again.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
I got all messed up last time when I was in my. Love you guys. Love you though.
Dash D's also came in with a Canadian $5, eh? Says, sorry, that long barrel Desert Eagle with the silencer is like a pimple or your nuts. It's just annoying and it doesn't belong. Gun snob moment complete.
Well, he needs a phallic symbol.
Wait, is it a silencer or is it a barrel extension?
I don't. That's a good question.
I think it's 2/3 one.
It feels like it would probably be a barrel extension. Other. But I haven't seen a clean shot of the full gun yet to know for sure.
Yeah, but like 2/3 looks like a silencer.
And this Sunday on Mead, Script Doctor presents Gun and Ammo Show.
Yeah, and Grand Admiral. Grand Admiral Adam says Margot Robbie changing was pretty memorable. That was from the first trailer, and yeah, outside of some of the Margot bits, I was not impressed by the first trailer. I liked King Shark all right, and I liked her whole thing of like, oh, you guys came to save me. That's so sweet. I can go back inside if you want, kind of thing. That bit made me laugh, but the rest of it was unimpressive, and I was like, this is James Gunn making this? So then this trailer drops today, and I'm like, this is more like it. This is the trailer they should have dropped first. This it doesn't have the gimmick of the whole music thing like the other ones, which I know you liked, Jesse, but you know what?
Yeah, but it was a total letdown. And that's the thing. You can't trust one of these trailers for a Suicide Squad movie. It's like trusting a fart.
Well, and I was like, oh, after that first trailer, I'm like, I'm not feeling the vibes here. I'm like, I don't know. But then this trailer really gave us, as far as I'm concerned, a bit more meat.
A little oomph, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, Mike, go ahead. How did you feel after watching?
I felt like it gave us a little oomph and a little, I thought that this is gonna go somewhere. I really did. I mean, look, the only person I'm not crazy about a couple of the costumes, 2 or 3 of the costumes, maybe, including John Cena's, right? And John Cena really is a big turnoff for me in this thing. But overall, if you take the other stuff, I think I can buy into this movie. I am gonna go see it. I am gonna go pay to go see this. So. I'm being committal, and so, I'm going to see it the second it comes. When does this thing open? When does this thing open?
A couple months, I think.
Oh shit! I thought it opened in a couple.
Actually,
weeks.
Not even. I was going to say I think it's a couple weeks.
Yeah, I thought it opened like 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Who's the guy on the left with the polka dots? Because I always collected
Polka Dot
Marvel
Man.
comics.
Yeah, it's Polka Dot.
I don't know DC.
Polka Dot Man.
Let me double check. I think this comes out right in the middle of July.
Because
Yeah,
the
that's
actor
like
playing him, he always plays somebody eccentric and funny.
Oh yeah. I
And
can't think of the
power
actor's
looks kind
name.
of
It's
neat. I don't know what it does exactly.
It's Dashel. Oh gosh, it's a tricky surname, but yeah.
David Dast.
Isn't he the guy hitting Ant-Man who was
Malkian?
like
Dast
Baba Yaga?
Malkian?
Yeah, Dash Michelin. He's in Ant-Man as the Russian guy.
Yeah.
He's Murdoch in the revival of MacGyver series.
Okay.
He was the crazy cop
18.
that Harvey Dent interrogated in The Dark Knight.
Really?
Yeah. He's in that. I
Yep.
remember him from that and shit. And I remember him from some other things. I can't find a fucking date for when this comes out.
Hold on, let me go to my IMDb Pro. It'll be in there. Oh,
Yeah.
there's that release date thing. I'll find it.
August
Move along.
6th. August 6th.
Yeah, August 6th.
Okay, so yeah, 2 months.
Yeah, just over.
They got time to recoup a bad.
Oh, the
initial
anticipation.
strategy.
How will my loins wait? I don't know.
Nah, I mean, so Jesse, how did you feel after watching this trailer now? Since you kind of started a little bit, but
It's more promising.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just like you never know with these movies these days. I mean, once in a while you get a hip one, and it's just like this feels like while it could be hip, it's not going to be anything you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And the humor of a lot of the back and forth between John Cena and Idris Elba just doesn't work. He's too dry, and he's got like Idris Elba really doesn't have anything to play off of there.
well, he's
Why
kind of
don't-
just being Idris Elba. Sorry, Mike.
I was gonna say Idris Elba. I just don't see him as a comedic presence in any capacity.
and that's just the thing because he seems like more of a hey, you know, why don't you just go fuck yourself? Type.
They should have
wanna
just
hear-
tried to
No.
get Will Smith back, and played.
There you
his
go.
character.
See, but Will Smith, he's played out, man.
Yeah. I think that red circle table stuff that he went through with his wife just kind of took him out. He's out. Dude, have you seen him in any of those post interviews? Like, well, we had an open marriage, or this happened with that dude, and he's
I
half
heard,
my age.
yeah.
Dude, he is a broken man. Will Smith.
Yeah, but
was-
he's Will Smith.
He's a
He can
broken
fucking-
man.
He fucked Margot Robbie, and you know it.
Probably,
There's no probably about it.
but it's a big difference when your wife.
Margot
does-
Robbie's like, I'm gonna fuck the Fresh Prince. Like,
And then his wife's like, and I'm going to expose what I did too to the entire world. in
exactly.
front
And I
of
think
your
that's
face.
what pissed her off. To be
I
honest,
bet
with
it
you.
did.
Goddess of Whim, how you doing?
Woo!
Says greetings from Troy. That's Missouri, right? Yeah, Missouri. Glad to catch you guys. I'm so glad I never spent money on John Cena's rap album. He did a rap album.
Rap
What?
album.
Oh yeah.
Gonna
Rap
pass on
album?
the Suicide Squad. Oh, well,
Rap album.
wow.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't
know he
know
lives
it-
in that
rap album?
from the movie because he's got an HBO Max show, The Peacekeepers.
And I saw this last night. Jesse, congratulations on
Wait
being
a minute.
monetized. Yeah.
Was there a party I didn't get invited
Great
to?
lunatic.
No, like I saw,
it
I was
just
going to
happened.
play a video game, and then I was like, oh, like it says monetized now. So then I had to sit here and click through hundreds of different streams I've done, hitting yes, on, and seeing how many of them were ineligible for various reasons, which I thought that was
Well,
funny. 'cause
congratulations,
it's
buddy.
I was
more.
actually surprised he got it with all the copyright claims and stuff he gets.
Yeah, and then see, my watch hours are good. It's just it took me forever to get
I
to
actually-
1,000 subscribers.
My old one got taken away from me because of copyright claims. So I was like
Really?
surprised you got it in the first place. Yeah, because you've actually had streams taken down.
Yeah,
I only
and-
had
and
one
you know what?
strike, and that was it.
It didn't take as long as I thought. I thought it would have taken at least 3 weeks.
I got a strike for that stupid fan film that Seth MacFarlane. Well, it's not stupid, but it's stupid because whoever claimed it, they gave me a fucking strike instead of a claim.
No, really?
Yeah,
Was
totally.
that for the Star Trek thing?
Yes.
What? You got to be kidding me.
No, that was my only strike on the channel, and they took away my monetization and everything over there because of it all.
Wait, with me and Jesse, that's still
That's
your only strike?
ridiculous.
Yeah, no, well, this is on my old channel, not
Oh.
on here, but like, yeah.
Do you ever get in trouble for Bat Tom?
Oh, fuck no.
Well, that's
Okay.
obvious parody. You can't really do that.
Yeah, true. There was that whole what was
Jesse's
that,
changing the subject. Jesse, congratulations, brother. I'm proud of you. Good
Yeah,
job.
congratulations. You need to do a.
Yeah.
You need to do
Come
a
on, let's have a, we're gonna have a
stream.
monetization party this
Definitely.
weekend. I'll bring the scotch.
Definitely.
Scotch.
And we're gonna get to Scripps reaction here in just a moment. Nicholas Horton though comes in first with a €5, right? No, that's £5. That's
That's
pound.
£5.
£5. Seeing that Beast Wars was my child Transformers show, I hope they don't ruin the characters in the movie. Hang on to that. We're going to bring that up here in just a little bit. We've got Transformers 7 talk coming up. And then Dash D's coming in again. Says, Mike, you need to go for a walk, Frere.
What?
I think you sat on a testy there. Your octaves go up again. You'll break my screen.
I was excited for Jesse.
Oh, for real? Okay. For real? Is that what he's trying to say?
Yeah, hold on. Mike, you need to go for a walk. There.
Oh, there. That's what he meant. Okay.
Yeah, I think you sat on a
on a testicle.
I think he means to say that.
These balls
I see.
Wait, who said that? Who was that? Was that Dash? Okay, Dash. Okay, brah. Okay, I see you. See, this is. Hold on, wait. Hold on. Where's Dash? Where's Dash? I'm gonna find him in the stream. Hold on. Where is he? I'm looking for you, Dash. This is me looking for Dash D's. Look, I'm looking on the stream.
Don't you time him out.
Did Magic Samurai Lady die in the last one?
No.
So
the only one who died, I think, was the
Slipknot,
yeah. Valiant Renegade coming in with another one says, I just watched the trailer, never a Suicide Squad fan, but this new one has me interested. Might give it a chance. I like the cast. Yeah, now going back to what we got before from Lady Goddess of Whim, I don't like the Cena thing. The whole thing with the China thing to me wasn't enough for me to be like, I'm never going to watch anything within in it again. I mean, my breaking point is like kids and animals and murder. Usually, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's kind of my breaking point there, where I have a hard time separating the artist from the art. If you're all right on you can do a lot of other stupid shit, and I can still say, yeah, but they made a good movie, or they did a good, made a good album, or whatever. Bill Cosby's probably that gray area line where it's like, nope, we got to cut it off. Like,
that's the gray area for you.
Well, that's like the area where it's like, nope, that's enough. Like,
okay,
yeah, like that's it. Like, no, yeah. So beyond that, maybe slapping somebody around I can forgive. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing. But this here, let's see. Now, I don't. To me, it's not such a big deal as it is. It on him personally, at least in my opinion, it made him look bad. Now, you can still be an actor and play. I think a lot of actors are fucking stupid in real life. I'm sure they're very fucking stupid, and they probably believe some.
Hugh Jackman went on to the set of Wolverine making wolf noises.
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't know a Wolverine was an animal.
Well, not just that, but I mean, they probably believe some really stupid shit that I would really think, God, you're a fucking moron if I ever talk to them in person. That doesn't mean I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stop watching their movies or anything like that, right? So that's my point on that. But James Gunn, on the other hand, same kind of a thing. Think of him what you will about his jokes and stuff on Twitter in the past. He has yet to make a movie I did not enjoy, even though I hated the ending of Super.
Yeah, same thing, man. He creeps me out, but like he does make good movies. And he was Trauma, dude. Trauma was the shit back in the day.
Yeah, I've yet to see a movie of his that I did not like. Okay. Mike, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I'm just stunned by it.
And I'm even counting the remake of Dawn of the Dead in there because he wrote that.
He did write
that. Did he really? I like that movie. Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Huh.
And another classic, The Class of Nukem High.
Never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, on that part, I'm willing to give this movie a much more of a chance than I did the first film. I mean, the first film I went into expecting the worst, and I actually walked out saying it wasn't that bad. So unlike most people, I didn't hate it.
I have to converse to you. I don't hate it either. I've watched Suicide Squad 7 to 10 times probably. It's I know.
Whoa.
I haven't watched it that many times, but
I don't know. It's just sometimes that I don't know why it's in one of my playlists, right? I bought the damn thing digitally, and it's in one of my playlists.
Did the Joker ever get any better?
I enjoyed the Joker. You don't like the Joker?
The extended cut, Jesse, is the same thing as the theatrical, pretty much, with just a few scenes recut and stuff like that.
I thought it was fantastic.
It's nothing that special. And then as far as like an air cut, I think you were talking about that before with the script before the show anyway. So Goddess of Whim says, I only cross the Marvel DC line for Batman. All others I don't need to pay for. No, that's fair. I'm not
That's
telling
fair.
you what to do. Don't make me think I'm telling you. I'm just saying, like, I can. That's my personal thing. Is like I can separate. Somebody said actors are always saying stupid shit. Like, that's to me is just nothing new. Roman Polanski. Oh,
Not touching that one with a
that's
10
in the
foot
kids
pole.
zone. That's in the kids zone. So I don't really. I'm trying to think. I don't think I own any of his films.
I
To be honest with you, I really don't.
It's funny when
Oh,
you see
I take
everybody
that
kissing
back.
his
The only one that I own is Chinatown, right? Because he directed that, right?
Oh
Yeah.
crap! Yeah.
That's the only one of his movies I own. I don't even have Rosemary's Baby or anything. So there you go. Like that fucking Jeepers Creepers guy. No, shit like that. No. And
Crap.
It's a little easier with the director because they're not on screen usually. So
Yeah.
Is that an excuse? I doubt it, but
No.
no, not in the least as far as what he did. No. Now Vidge says that James Gunn is overrated. That's a fair assessment. But again, I digress. I have yet to see one of his films.
He's bubblegum.
Yeah, that it's not now. To me, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 are like my top of most of the Marvel films. I even love the second film more than the first one.
Yeah, but do you think that they are elevated above really being more than a popcorn flick?
As far as that goes,
Good
I
question.
give Guardians a little bit more of a, because I just brought them up, I think it was last night or the night before, where I said the best thing about Guardians 1 and 2, and you're not going to get with part 3, and this is why I brought it up, was the first two movies you can watch without seeing any other Marvel movie, knowing shit about Marvel. Doesn't matter. You can sit down and watch one of those movies, watch the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and it's just like a goofy kind of Star Wars sci-fi kind of movie.
Okay, I got one even better for that, Tom. To agree with you and build on that, check this out. Not only are you completely right, I'm going to take it up a step further, which is that I am a DC Universe guy. I read very little Marvel growing up, and I'm a huge comic books fan and collector, but I just was never into Marvel, really, okay? Iron Man is a fluke. I was into that, but that's only because my second cousin was into that, and he gave me a bunch of them for free. So here's how I'm going to double down. I hadn't even heard of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I watched the movies like cold, and boom, was like bought in and loved it and understood the character development, the whole 9 yards. And then, I mean, I have a hard time, watching superhero movies if I don't know them from the comics type of thing, because there's been some real bad ones out there that, people have tried to do over the years. But that one just plugged in like perfectly for me. So I think you're 100% on point. Even for a newbie who didn't even know who they are, and made, it worked for me.
Yeah, it works as a generic sci-fi comedy.
Yeah.
Like you could watch it right after you watch like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Plus, he kind of took the top 10 hits of the 70s and used it as a soundtrack.
Well, it's just everything about it. It's like if Quentin Tarantino made Star Wars.
Yeah. With a lot less crude language.
Yeah, well,
There'd be a lot
without the
more
language.
space drugs.
Without the language and the foot shots.
Yeah,
That's
wait,
really
what?
all you're missing.
Like Princess Leia, where take off your sandals.
Yeah, like that scene where Princess Leia got the needle shoved in her heart because she OD'd on.
No, that's what the probe droid did. That's how it
so
injected
bad,
her.
bro.
I saw Quentin Tarantino once. He was talking about how he met the Muppets band Electric Mayhem, and he started making out with the chick puppet.
Well, he's in Muppets Wizard of Oz, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
Wait,
he's
what?
in that. Yeah, he's the best part of the movie. The rest of the movie sucks. But the part where he comes in, he's like, I'm going to make a Muppet movie, and it's going to be great. And he keeps going through this whole thing, and then he's like, and then Kermit comes out with a katana sword, and he's like up there with a sword, and he's doing his shtick. It's just fucking hilarious. It's PG Quentin Tarantino, and it's just hilarious. He's just basically talking about making the Muppets into a fucking like Tarantino movie.
How
It's
did I never
hilarious.
see this before? Is this on YouTube?
And it was a TV movie Disney did. It was the last in their line of when they were doing like Muppet Treasure Island and Christmas Carol, and
Okay.
it was right after those, so it was straight to video, and I think the Disney Channel at the time. It's not very good. It's not very good at all.
Speaking of Muppet Treasure Island, though, I do miss Tim Curry quite a bit.
It's got Brandy, I think, as Dorothy or something like that, if I remember right.
Okay.
And if it's not Brandy, I apologize. It was another singer or something like that. And then they had like Kermit was the Scarecrow.
Was this a drug-induced movie, or is this just
Well,
dump
it was
truck full of
it
money up
was
to my house movie?
it was not nearly up to the snuff of Treasure Island or Christmas Carol at all.
So this was actually put forth as a film. It wasn't just a special.
No, it was like a TV movie kind of thing.
Yeah,
It may have been
special.
filmed for theatrical, and they're like, "This is shit," and they just threw it on the Disney Channel, I think.
All right. Well, just for the record,
Or
the
maybe it
best Muppet
premiered on
movie
ABC,
ever
I
was,
can't remember.
Muppet Family Christmas, 1987.
I remember that one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The one with the Fozzie's mother's house,
Yeah.
and Swedish chef tried to cook Big Bird.
Enchilada. That's what we need. We need a Muppet character, new Muppet character. Well, it won't be a Jim Henson, but I was gonna say I'm gonna make my own Muppet character. I'll make him the Mexican show. Salsa.
Well, if you did make another chef character, you could have cooking competitions and have them get heated.
No. We would be brothers. We would be. Where's he from in the Muppets? The chef is he? Where's he?
Sweden.
Swedish
That's
chef.
it. Swedish
We're-
chef.
we're-
No, it would
totally
be
the
building
Swedish
bridges
chef.
between Sweden and Mexico. Building bridges of harmony amongst the cultures.
Well, what was Pepe?
Who's adopted? Pepe is like. I
thought
know,
he
I always
was,
took him as normal Spanish, like Spanish.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I think he's either like, I don't know. That's a good question.
Where's he Cuban?
That's what I thought.
He's
That's
funny. He's one of the
I know,
best
he's
new
my-
Muppets.
That's I agree. I can't remember what he is now, to be honest with you.
I like his attitude.
He's just a king prawn, okay? He's nothing.
Yeah, he's totally over it.
You don't tell him. I will spank you like a bad donkey.
Six says Timmy the transsexual will be the next Muppet character. That's what she says.
You will build a jacuzzi.
You know, Wolf is saying Pepe's a Cuban.
Is he Cuban? I thought so. Yeah. Technical Chet, how you doing? He says, "What does Bat Tom think of Harley Quinn? Would he?" I think he's insinuating.
He is. Do it, Tom. Do it. Do it.
Are you kidding? Crazy chicks are the best in bed. They do anything, and I mean anything.
Yep, you don't even have to ask him.
You
Sometimes
fill in
you're
the
scared.
blanks. Everything. They're down to do it all. And yeah, she's the right kind of crazy.
Now, is everything in the bedroom labeled the same way as it is in the Bat Cave?
I plead the fifth.
Just going crazy with that label maker. What was
I
up
got
with
the
that? Was that
problem
a
of
phase?
finding stuff. And Alfred got one of those, what is it, like a gun? Where you
Label
can put
maker?
label maker. He went crazy with it.
Oh, it
Just-
wasn't even you. It was Alfred. You just
No, it
came
was
home one
Alfred.
day and everything
He's
said
just-
Bat everything on it.
Well, he got sick and tired of going, Alfred, where is this? He's like, it's right here. I can't wait. Oh, he's right here, Mr. Wayne. I mean, Batman.
Mr. What?
I said Batman.
Do you have the clapper in the Batcave? You know, clap
I never
on.
had the clap. That's a vicious fucking rule.
No,
The Bat clap.
But chlamydia, that you had.
Oh, yeah, that shit sucks. I got that from going down on Catwoman.
No. Oh no.
And poison ivy always gives you a rash.
Yeah, but it's worth it. But Harley Quinn, yeah, she's good. She's good. Pisses Joker off, but hey, you know.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, it's not like the two of you are like hanging out at the bar on Friday nights, you and Joker. I mean, seriously.
It's a perk. No, yeah, he keeps calling me. And it's like, dude, I'm busy. I got like other shit to do. He thinks he's like my arch nemesis or something. I don't understand. Anyway, I gotta go.
Does he ask if she's mentioned him?
No.
Well,
Maybe.
that's good. Yeah.
I don't hang out with Joker. He's just kind of weird.
But Bat Tom will hang out with us three.
Oh yeah, but the Batmobile is double parked, so it's too big for one spot. And Alfred never puts enough change in my Batmobile, and I'm just so upset with that. I'm like, Alfred, you need to put more quarters in here.
Jesus Christ.
And he messed it up one time. He put it in my pouch for the strippers, so I was throwing quarters at strippers. They hate that.
You know, I had a foreman who did that with pennies. Long story.
They probably kicked him.
No.
Ouch.
Want me to just tell the tale?
Might as well. I gotta go.
All right.
All right.
There's some, not ready for prime time player dancing on the stage. And he said, "Can you get some more girls in here?" And the bartender, she was like, "No." She was like, "Not unless she goes home." So he slaps $1 on the counter. He says, "Give me a roll of pennies." So he starts throwing pennies at her.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, you're right. Muppet Treasure Island and Carol were Disney, but From Space was not. Yes, that is correct. And this one came out after Muppets from Space and after all the other ones. It was basically the last Muppet movie until the what's-his-face, Jason Segel one or whatever.
Did you have a problem with Muppets from Space revealing that Gonzo was actually an alien and giving him a real backstory?
Not really. I actually liked Muppets from Space quite a bit.
I'm okay.
It actually felt like it actually felt like an old school Muppet movie.
It fits. It fits the character. That new Muppets movie, though, when they had Walter and all them, what was that all about? Like, why add a brand new Muppet that's so generic and plain?
Yeah, I didn't like
no
that.
character there.
I didn't like that at all. You didn't need to do any of that.
Nah.
And it actually is the same fucking script they used twice.
Yeah.
There's
you got enough characters already to draw from.
Well, you know what I'm talking about because they did a Christmas TV movie a couple years prior that was using basically the same concept, and that was the Muppets had to save the Muppet Theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the second one, Muppets Most Wanted, that's essentially a much bigger modern version of
Great Muppet Caper, yeah. And I did not like it at all. That was one I just totally was turned off by. Didn't care for it at all. I'm not a fan of when you have a stupid evil twin shit either.
I don't like evil twins
I hate
either.
that crap.
The only time that was ever acceptable was in that episode of Star Trek where they all had goatees.
Well, that's different.
That's the mirror universe.
That's different. That's not the Prince and the Pauper.
That's not like a
with
long lost
twin.
twin.
Yeah.
That's evil.
So you didn't like the Star Trek episode where Kirk gets split between good guy and bad guy?
That's also different.
That's a little different, but that has, I think, if that's the episode I think it is, that has with some of the most epic, like fucking Kirk spaz outs ever, right?
Yeah. That's exactly the episode.
Yeah. I love that episode, actually.
I just love how him to fight himself. Like I was hoping he would no, I didn't. You know?
No, I know. I just love it because it's like pure Shatner ham through the whole fucking thing.
Was that the one where he had to make Spock beat him up?
Yeah. Well, Spock.
No, that's a different one. Spock beating him up as the one where he's hit with the flower that allows him to like embrace his emotions, and he falls in love with a girl on this colony.
Oh, that's the one where Spock beat him up?
Yep.
Yeah,
now
that Warwolf mentions this, I remember this too, because I haven't watched this movie in so long. I forgot all about this. Yeah, I remember saying that too when the movie came out. I'm like, it was protected because it was a landmark to begin with. So yeah, it was kind of stupid. I mean, there was moments in that movie that were all right, but it was just, to me, it felt like, it kind of reminded me of that fucking Charlie Brown movie that came out. I'm like, oh great, it's a greatest hits collection.
That Charlie Brown movie was bad.
It was like, what the fuck?
It was just like, dude, this is terrible.
I was hoping it was going to be more like,
it wasn't even cutesy or reminiscent. It was just shit.
Well, it was like a greatest hits album, but it's not like, and I say this before about other things too, but it fits here. It was like a greatest hits album, but it's when the band remakes all the songs instead of actually puts their actual hits on there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where they're older and they don't sound anything like they used to. And yeah,
there's the same song you used to like, except 2 octaves down because we can't sing high.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I felt like watching Charlie. I'm like, dude, you could have, the Peanuts movie. You liked it, Mecha J? Well, that's cool. I can get it, people who did, but I'm just like, why didn't they just?
It felt like a big one commercial to me.
Yeah, it was like they could have picked it up. It could have been about, like, they should have had it being about Charlie Brown finally getting to meet the little redheaded girl and that whole kind of thing, and kind of progressing the story on. Because we all know the stories. Yeah, we all know these stories. So it was kind of like, why are you just rehashing a lot of the same bits? And I didn't like the animation style either, but that's just me.
You could have Scooby finally take out that son of a bitch Red Baron.
Speaking of Scooby, James Gunn wrote the original Scooby-Doo movies too.
Yep.
Oh.
And I'm still
Those
trying
are supposed to be way more adult with his.
Yeah, the original script
they
was
weren't the same as they were actually released.
I've been trying to find an earlier
way
version of it.
Child friendly up. They were supposed to be like, smoking weed and shit.
Well, yeah, there's like, I think it's scripted, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only joke that really kind of makes it that's still in the movie is the van joke. But otherwise, there was a shit ton of them.
With the Passaducci on the left-hand side pointing in the background. But they were really just making cheeseburgers.
Or no, it was zucchini or whatever.
Well, I've got
the
Craig Titley 96 Scooby-Doo script.
No, this was an earlier James Gunn draft because if I remember, I
only have the 2000 one.
Yeah,
this from like March of 2000.
Yeah,
one of the best Scooby-Doo things ever is the Scooby-Doo Project, which was released on 1999 Halloween, but it's like the Blair Witch Project. It's friggin' hilarious. Just go watch that.
And what I recall of the story, and I could be remembering some of it wrong, so please forgive me, is basically like this came about the time they had the resurgence because of Cartoon Network, and they were doing a lot of the late night, like more adultish, like little little short films with like all the Hanna-Barbera characters.
I love those.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
So like from my recollection, what happened was they're like, okay, let's do a live action Scooby-Doo movie. But since cartoon that whole Adult Swim thing was kind of in its infancy and becoming a thing at that time, they were pushing for like a PG-13 comedy, raunchier version of Scooby-Doo, like a little more adult. They were, and I think it was also on the heels of like the Brady Bunch movies, which were kind of the same thing.
And some of those shorts they did for Adult Swim, they were more grown up. It's like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
there's Fred sitting in the van, and they were like, "Hey, how come you like to wear that ascot?" He says, people ask me all the time, and I always got to tell them, why don't you mind your own fucking business, pal?
That's what I'm saying. So like they had that. So I think that's why they brought James Gunn in the first place, is they wanted a bit more raunchy adult kind of twist on it. And then somewhere in the process of it all, somebody changed their minds and they had to edit it down to PG or whatever.
I think he could have found a good balance and made a good movie like that, but they would have just risked tainting the franchise forever by doing that.
Because
they were smart to not do it, because now they've made DVD release movies twice a year since. And
this was the age of like Space Ghost, exactly, Mecha J. So like that's the kind of like they were going for a bit more of an adult edge. But I don't remember what happened.
Harvey Birdman when they got pulled over for smoking.
Yeah, and I don't remember what the hell they did in between there. That something came out or something happened that Scooby-Doo got popular somewhere else again for kids. That they ended up twisting it back, because like you got to imagine, why would you bring James Gunn on unless you're going to do something like that? Because at that time he was only known for. Was that what it was?
Yeah, What's New Scooby-Doo was 2000 to 2006, I believe. And
that might have what it spawned it, because if that was popular enough, that could have very well been.
Yeah, because the second that came out, they started busting out the movies, because originally there was like 4 animated movies like that, and then it was like they started releasing 2 a year after that.
So yeah, they may have realized that they didn't want to like kill the golden calf or whatever in that sense.
Pretty much. They dropped the Monsters Unleashed was 2004.
Yeah.
The first one was 2000.
And Gunn wrote that one.
I'm not this much of a nerd. I just went over all this research.
Yeah. You just wrote the thing for us, but we're working on. But
they dropped them right on top of other movies.
So I'm thinking that's what happened in the process of it all. So they just cleaned it up and made it more kid oriented. Because I do remember there be supposed to be a bunch of pot jokes and a bunch of like more jokes about Daphne and Velma and the lesbian shit and Daphne and Fred. But anyway, you're going to say, Mike, sorry.
Well, Jesse, I was just going to say, I'm going to have to call point of personal Mexican fandom privilege on Jesse. Because Jesse, you see you're not a nerd, bro. But every day you show up and hang out with us nerds. So
yeah, I like.
Well,
come on, bro.
I enjoy lore and mythos.
You're at least nerd. Okay, hold on. You're at least nerd friendly or nerd curious.
Yeah,
but we've got to get Script's reaction to this trailer yet. I don't think.
I gave my reaction.
Oh, did you? Okay. I just want to make sure.
So the draft I do have is the first revision by James Gunn. It's March 17, 2000. The previous one was by Jay Kogan.
Oh,
okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the whole story there, so I just know that there was a point where they were talking about doing it as more of an adult.
Did you find the actual scripts?
No, I have the actual script, and yeah, it starts off. I mean, when we introduced to the characters, they're kind of like broken up, and they're doing their interviews, and Shaggy's complaining how how Daphne is always getting caught. And yeah, it's got it has a lot of the same type of beats that happened in the final film. Just scrolling through here, I'm not really seeing any pot jokes yet by like page 12, but yeah, it's way different than because again, it still has Craig Titley as the original writer. So this, if I can't remember, they've been working on the Scooby-Doo's live action thing since '94. So it's like it was a good 8 years before they were able to actually get this thing made.
That's a long time. And then Scooby comes out looking like bad CGI dog.
Yeah.
That was my biggest complaint about the first film. I hate the second film, but
even my son says Scooby-Doo should never be live action.
Well, either you just have a fucking Great Dane that you fucking train, or you just make him look like the cartoon, kind of like they did with Sonic. Just make him look like the cartoon version. That's what bugged me about Garfield as well. Is like Garfield was fine, but you can't do Garfield as the only CGI animal. You have to have them all look like their counterparts, just kind of more realistic.
Dude, those were horrible.
That's
Garfield
what I'm saying.
and Friends was such a classic. Then you move on to that crap.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. You can't have Garfield be an animated, weird-looking cat up against a real dog. It doesn't work.
Yeah, just to prove that. I mean, if Bill Murray can't save it.
Well, the first film is watchable, I guess, at the most. Is that the best thing I can say about it?
Right.
It carries along the Garfield story well enough in a film form. But my issue with it was that you can't have all, like, Odie should be, his head is supposed to be twice the size of the rest of his body, and his tongue's 3 times the size of the rest of his body. I mean, I know you can't do that really in a 3-dimensional way, but you can do it kind of how they did with Garfield, by just kind of taming it down just a little bit. Because you have Nermal and Odie and all the rest of the characters, they're just actual animals, and it's like it just doesn't meld right.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Just
and that second movie is just, let's not even talk about it.
Oh god,
that's another one with the fucking twin, but that's not an evil twin.
Why live action at all of comic properties? I just don't understand it.
Of those kind of properties,
is hard.
Yeah, I mean, normally I'm not a big fan of them. Yeah,
you said drawing is hard.
Yeah, because drawing is totally hard.
Well, the other part too is there's a spectacle nature of it where you can get and shoot a lot easier than animation. So
it was a big deal when they did it in Mary Poppins.
I mean, certain things will lend themselves up to a point to that, but yeah, I don't know. There's a certain kind of ground there where you just almost got to kind of cut it off.
So you had in the so let me get this straight. So in the 50s, 60s, and dare I say early 70s, when things were a lot cheaper and technology was a lot less than it is today, and Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes, and Disney Studios are pumping and chugging shit out damn near annually. Now we can't get stuff like random. I mean, like now it's too much work. I mean, hello.
Well, at those points, animation was done more locally, and it was being outsourced actually in the 70s overseas. There's actually an interview of Tim Cook from He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and a couple of other cartoons of that era where he talks about that. I think it's over on Pop Culture Minefield's channel. So he talks about the changes in animation, how he started, and how the process is changed when he was just getting his start, and how basically Filmation and Ruby Spears were one of the few studios that were still doing their animation domestically, and all the other bigger studios were exporting all the hard work based off of storyboards and character models.
Well, I have my platinum edition. I have the complete and total set of my Sylvester, my Speedy Gonzalez, all the great works. So.
And on that note, Dash D says, never heat up a loony or a toonie with a lighter and make it a stick on a stripper's ass. It gets you kicked out rather quick.
He's not wrong.
I know that's not the same thing, but Looney Tunes, loony and a toonie. Yeah, anyway.
Well, that's our change.
I know, yeah. I get I was kind of using it as a pun to but it also, this transfers nicely into our next story, because speaking of cartoons or comics turned into live action things, we're getting a 7th Transformer movie to nobody's surprise, really, but
the last one was bad. Not the Bumblebee movie was okay, but the last actual Transformers movie was bad. And all the fighting in this movie, all these movies suck.
Who read the last one? I mean, who have you guys
Who
read this
watched it?
article? I'm sorry, not watched the last one. I misspoke. Who read this article of this upcoming one? Because I read it.
I'm going into it fresh, so I think
Oh.
you and
I read it beforehand too.
because I got
It
it
was
before us.
sandwich.
So.
Oh, you're in for a good. All right, Tom, let's do this. Yeah.
On Tuesday, Paramount put on a virtual showcase teasing the 7th Transformers film, which recently entered production. And this I heard about, though. It's revealed the title Transformers Rise of the Beasts. The centerpiece of the event was a panel moderated by Vanity Fair's Anthony Bresnikan. Panelists includes director Stephen Capel Jr., franchise producer Lorenzo Di Benaventura, as well as Rise of the Beast stars Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback, who offered new details with regard to the upcoming Actioneers story and characters. The new Transformers film will be set in 1994, while its central characters are based in Brooklyn. The feature will move between New York and Machu Picchu.
How are you going to hide a Transformer in Brooklyn?
No, they've done it already.
Double
Our main
park
our main hero on the side of the Transformers will once again be Optimus Prime. Should I do the rest of this as Optimus Prime? But the
go
Rise
for
of the Beast will also look to expand on the big screen world of Transformers. Beyond the familiar, this is going to hurt my voice, presenting a clash between different tribes of alien robots. One of those breeds referenced in the title is known as Beast Wars. In their disguise, they take on animal form, said Capel. So in our film, they're these prehistoric animals that travel through time and space, and we find them here on Earth. In the upcoming film, we'll see Beast War robots go to war with their natural enemies, the Predacons. Ugh, I can't talk. I can't keep doing that.
Yeah, they're really messing around with the Transformers canon and universe with this.
Okay, so let's get into this. The Terracons will present another new threat. Saving the world will be left up to the Autobots and the Maximals. The Predacons in our film are more reptilian in nature. We've seen a few in other Transformer films, but in the new film, we get to see another side of them, said Capel. It's all about building a backstory to these characters, and we'll see more on the Predacon and Terracon side. You're going to see villains you've never seen, Autobots you've never seen, elements we've done before, added Di Bonaventura. You know what I'm saying.
Di Bonaventura.
One of the driving decisions along the way is, have we done that before? Whether that's an action scene or a character. For their part, Ramos and Dominique offered up new details about their characters. I'm playing an intelligent artifact researcher who works at a museum, said Fishback. She's trying to get a leg up in life, but her boss keeps taking credit for the work she's done, so she's trying. Oh, of course. So she's trying to move on her own. Ramos's character, Noah, is a military vet who lives in Brooklyn with his family, serving as a father figure of sorts for his brother. He's all about taking care of people he loves, Ramos said. He comes from a lower income home. Anyway,
he's Mark Wahlberg.
It's a Transformer.
There's a lot of issues with this
setup,
this interweaving of setup, because the Maximals and Predacons are descendants of the Autobots and Decepticons by thousands of years, and the Beast Wars takes place in Earth of the past, a few decades before the Ark crashed into the mountain and was buried. And they didn't even know the Ark was there until many years into their own Beast Wars.
Right.
I can also imagine that, considering they're going to be more reptilian in nature, they're going to set it up that they were actually the dinosaurs we had on Earth before, aren't they? That's
the Predacons did take forms of dinosaurs,
yeah, so
they could survive, and the Maximals took form of basically apes, cheetahs, rhinoceroses, and rats. It's strange because Beast Wars was done by Mainframe Studios in Canada. It was written and produced in Canada, and it's one of the few shows where they had no idea how to integrate it into the G1 series, so they just decided to ignore trying to do that. And what ended up happening is the story that they were telling just kept on gravitating towards leading into the G1. So they just uncovered it and stumbled upon it, and then it just ended up paying off exceptionally well. And then when they the company kind of changed ownership and they did the Beast Machine series, that's kind of when the whole thing kind of turned, took a hard left and to kind of just kind of had a pretty weak ending. But the that series was actually quite good for its time.
Yep.
A lot of people, I guess, today don't appreciate the CG of it, but this is like mid '90s computer animation, and they were doing stuff that bigger studios
Yeah,
had
but
trouble
that was a good synopsis of the show because it's like personally, I had long signed out before then, so I didn't know about Beast Wars. I just assumed that had something to do with Grimlock and all the Dinobots or something.
No, it's because the Dinobots were made by the Autobots, I think, if memory serves. But
yeah.
But yeah, the Beast Wars takes place on a planet that they don't know is Earth because it has 2 moons, and then one of the moons is blown up, and Optimus Primal dies blowing that up, and then they realize, oh, it's Earth, and then they somehow restore him, and as they're fighting away, they discover the Ark, and Megatron of the Predacons destroys Optimus Prime, and then they have to save Optimus Prime, and it causes time rifts. Like, it goes kind of crazy, but it's pretty fun and
Is
enjoyable.
Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal 2 completely separate characters?
Yes.
Why do they have rip-off names?
Because that's what they were mandated by with the production. They were going to have 2 legacy character names. So Megatron was the leader of the Predacons, and Optimus Primal was the de facto leader of a ship of the Maximals, but not the leader of the Maximals.
Well, that's where this whole thing stops making sense for me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
You just broke my suspended disbelief for marketing campaigns.
Yeah. Well, look on the bright side, Jesse. You're not a nerd still.
Well, I was just thinking of look on the bright side of life, so I probably am.
Well, it's just that they're now trying to reconcile this into the current Transformers thing. It's a completely different story.
Just smush it in there. It doesn't matter.
Brian Barth
matters.
Brian Barth asked if this movie's going to make us beg back for Michael Bay. Will Michael return?
Are you kidding me? Michael Bay has screwed up more like Saturday morning cartoon fare than anybody. Like even all the Transformers movies, my big problem with all of them is during all the action, it just looks like swirling junk. Just pull the camera back. Yeah, dude.
Need a
right. You know what? I guess you're right.
They're not good movies. I can't pick a single Transformers movie out that they've made and sit here with a straight face and say this is a good movie.
You know what the weird thing was? It's like for as someone who played with Transformers like just incessantly as a child, right?
Oh,
it's weird because you go and see them on the cinematic theater, right? And the things are so everything's so close up, and you're not sure what's going on. I mean, you're right, bro. You're right. There's so many scenes where you're not quite sure what happens until it's over completely, right? And so, but then when you're a kid and you're playing with these things, and you have that different perspective or the perspective from the actual cartoons, you have a very different feeling about how you're able to watch and appreciate this stuff when you're that fucking close up. You know what's going on, and it does take a lot of the enjoyment out of it, especially with the sound going around you at 1,500 watts and 7.
And the character designs themselves. I mean, they have so much randomness to the patterns of the Transformers and Decepticons that it just looks indiscernible from another part of the body. It's like Queen character models.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember when there was a small CGI company did a quick intro for it was like a 2-minute thing for Transformers. So the first one is they used the Paramount stars that went across the mountain, and then they had the Ark crash into it, and then they did a model of Optimus Prime, a CG model of Optimus Prime transforming on the street of New York, and it was like really impressive. Like it was a low res CG model, but they set it off and it got a lot of fans interested, and then you learn, oh, Michael Bay's doing it, and then this other company's doing the CGI, and these are the new models, and it's like a bunch of jagged shard metal stuff glued to a basic rig. And yeah, I remember hearing a lot of people were not pleased with those designs.
Yep. Now look at a fire truck, right?
Wait, what?
You got that in. Look at a fire truck. It's all red and shiny. It's covered in chrome. It's got some white accents here and there. Right in the middle of it's a big chrome panel covered in lights and pumps and tools and stuff. It looks pretty cool, but it would look really stupid if all those buttons were randomly placed about the truck And the color scheme was just random, and the chrome was kind of here and kind of there, and there was a panel missing here. It's like trying to turn a classic car into a dune buggy. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking at all with these movies.
Nicholas Horton sends
Dune buggy.
I gotta get to the super chat. Sorry. Beast Wars never featured any humans. I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, Script, because it took place on pre-human Earth during the time when the Autobots and the Decepticons were in a stasis on the Ark. And I know you sent that in before Script got through a lot of his description there. So you guys did kind of cover the same ground. But yeah, so I mean, I gathered that. That's kind of where I was getting at. I guess the bigger question I'm getting here is maybe they'll address it here in the article, so we'll get to that in a moment. But DCB Titan, our good buddy, sends in another. We're getting some Canadian love tonight. Look at this.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Canada.
I think it's Script Doctor. I think they all think you're sexy.
Oh, wonderful.
Hey, I'm down to pimp out the script.
Not only that, the Canadian dollar is doing a lot better, so there's not much of a difference on the exchange for you, Tom. So that's good.
Ladies, for only $100, you can get your virtual Script Doctor in the virtual champagne room at Midnight's Edge after dark.
I think we can work on that.
I'm gonna have to talk to my girlfriend about
that.
There's
the asterisk there. It may or may not actually be.
You're an avatar. How's she gonna know? Bro, you're an avatar.
I'm learning how to make character animator puppets so we can make that happen.
And didn't Mexican Iron Man just say it was your virtual equivalent anyway, or something like that?
Yeah, he's an avatar.
Exactly.
He's got a virtual pole in the virtual champagne room.
Just remember, they can't do that much to you because you don't have a mouth.
Ladies, no touching Script Doctor unless you slip me 100, and then you can do whatever you want.
DCV
this guy knows the score.
For a movie called Transformers, I'm hearing a lot of human characters. Why can't we have a Transformer movie that the focus is the Transformers? That is a damn good question.
That is a damn good freaking point. Now, you know what? I cannot believe 9 movies win. No, I've never heard that point before.
I got a question for you, and here's a movie that's a good example of this. In the 1990 TMNT movie, who's the focal point?
Wait, what?
Not really, though, is she?
No, Kino.
Which one?
No, in the first movie. In the first movie.
The first movie, the Turtles, yeah.
Yeah, it's Raphael. Raphael is the main character in that film. If you really go through the storyline, the through line, it's Raphael. Also with the Turtles. Yeah. So how hard is it? Really? April's there out of necessity, but she doesn't really have any real character growth or anything. Yeah, she has a little bit of love story, and she serves her purpose.
She was realistic.
But yeah, she doesn't really have this like huge overarching thing. Neither does Casey Jones.
She helps Danny a lot.
Danny is the only other character who has a major character arc, and his kind of goes along with Raphael's. If you notice, they're very kind of cyclical in a way, if that's the word I'm looking for.
Well, they parallel, and it basically
that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Splinter teaches Danny the lesson that Raphael has a hard time learning with Splinter's help.
Oh, I've analyzed this movie to shit.
Very nice.
6 cents and $100. She wants her Script Doctor.
Whoa! I'm telling you, I'm on
Script Doctor may or not be Tom dressed as Script Doctor.
Uh-oh. we may need to reinforce that virtual pole a little bit with some virtual steel.
All results may vary. Script Doctor is not an actual PhD.
I am definitely not. I don't have a PhD. I'm a few $1,000 short of that.
I'm a PhD.
So anyway, back to this story here. Ramos's character, we got all that. The In the Heights star added that Noah is an amazing with electronics. The one thing I love about Noah is his tenacity. I'm sorry, I should be able to read this. His tenacity and his heart and his will to never quit in spite of all the crazy things life is throwing at him. The actor continued, then, it's amazing to see his journey when we venture out into the world and we see humans meet the bots and things start to happen. Oh, that sounds
awesome.
Yeah. Nothing
sounds like Jurassic World, but with
robo-dinosaurs. Wide range of Transformers appearing in the film, sharing designs for Mirage, RC, Nightbird, Air Razor, Rhinox, Optimus Primal, the ruthless and scary Terracon leader known as Scourge, and a new off-road Camaro version of Bumblebee. So it's the Camaro version. Paramount, and that wasn't my question, and that's why I was wondering if that was in there. Because this is the thing. Bumblebee didn't do that great. But it wasn't Bumblebee's fault. It was Transformer fucking 5's fault.
Yeah.
And now it sounds like they're going back to that world, and that's what I was afraid of. Does that kind of sound like what it's going to happen here, Script, to you?
That's exactly
pretty
what's
much.
going to happen.
Because like the best part of Bumblebee was that opening scene on Cybertron.
Well, you know what? That follows. There's a comment by who is it? BW in the stream. It says a film based on War of Cybertron could be incredible. That builds on what DCV Titan was talking about a minute ago. That's totally the direction they should go. I think DCV and BW are onto something here.
Yeah, start with Orion being like shot, and then he's like rebuilt as Optimus Prime, and go from there with like RC and all them, and starting the war. Yeah,
that'd be super cool.
They still never had, what was his name? Ultra Magnus?
Well, and that's where I wasn't too worried about putting Transformers 7 in the title, because Jesse, you're like, there's 7? What was number 6? I can count 5. I'm like, well, technically Bumblebee, because it's sort of a prequel.
Well, there's the one about the Knights, right? There were many.
Well, that was the 5th one.
That was the 5th one?
I believe, yes. Because you had 2 with Mark Wahlberg, and you had 3 with
Shia LaBeouf. And
now this is a new set of peoples. And I'm assuming that it's going to cross over with the newer Transformers, is the point. Obviously, if you're having Bumblebee in there as a new Camaro, we're going to get the new Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime, is what I'm saying. And it's going to be all this. It's going to be Transformers fucking 7. It's the same, back to the same Bay universe. It's just going to be by a new director. That's all.
Now, let me guess. Spoiler: does this end up for a final scene with some kind of climatic battle on top of, like, I don't know, let's say a skyscraper, a tower, or some kind of
it's going to end
platform?
No, it's going to end up with some kind of community, like in the streets protest, and how, like, you know, and what are the Transformers doing in order for, you know, certain lives to matter, and
Transformers lives matter,
and you know, and then all the white Transformers, you know, just have to get banished from the planet, and only the dark green Transformers gets. I don't know. I'm making shit up. I don't know what I'm doing here, people.
What about the orange ones?
I mean, it has potential if it's out of Michael Bay's hands, but putting it back in that universe, I feel like, is a big mistake.
Could you imagine a Transformer quelling a riot, though?
No.
Imagine what would human beings do to take down Optimus Prime legitimately?
Not much.
Invading Earth right now.
Not much.
People walk down the middle of the street in
Man,
New
I'm
York
telling
and
you,
just do whatever he wants.
I'm telling you, they need to take a cue from DCV.
Desist and go home
BW.
now before I blow you away.
Remain in your homes.
Yeah.
If you
protesters roll away.
Protesters roll out.
Tom, I think 6 is like quit. She's 5-1 on you in the champagne room now, bro. I mean, I'm seeing $500 in the chat stream. We have 400 for Tom dressed up as Script Doctor wearing Mexican green, red, white, and green thong. Do we have 300?
It's not hard to find me.
Do we have 600? Do we have 750?
I'm a lot cheaper than that, but I'm not going to say anything. So,
I like that in the chat. He's advertising my suspended Twitter account. Wonder how many messages are in that thing with people thinking that I'm being rude,
oh shit,
not responding to them.
Who is?
Oh, 6. He dropped my Twitter account.
She's dropping them. Oh, sorry about that.
No,
yeah,
funny.
6. By the way, he's kicked off of Twitter. So
yeah, he said that he was just a suspended Twitter account.
Yeah.
Can I even get into this?
I don't know if you can anymore or not.
No.
Ugh. I mean, I want this to be good, and as I was trying to say, this could be good, but I think they should have took Bumblebee as a refresh, and even though it didn't do that well, build off of that. I mean, you could do something similar like you're doing here, but putting it back in the Bay universe, I feel like, is a mistake if that's the case. I don't know if you guys have any feelings on that, but
yeah, I mean, that's what Micah J was saying a minute ago in the chat stream, something very similar. They should have jumped off of that. I think that would have made a lot of sense. But, you know, if they're going to go back in time, why stop at 1984? Why go at, like, you know, 2,094 BC or something, you know?
I have a feeling that this is going to, and this is why I'm like, kind of sinking on this, even though I'm not like a huge, like, Transformers fan, so I'm not like that invested in this franchise, but I am in a sense like, this is going to be just like the other ones, and I don't want to see it now. If it is different, I will give it a shot. But I can see it already. It's going to start in prehistory. We're going to see all these, you know, Transformers back in the day, just like all the other movies that we've seen before. It starts with this fucking, back in the past thing, setting up something in the future. This thing that sets up something in the future that the bad guys got to have.
Wait,
the
I got
good
a
guys
question
got to
for you.
protect. And it's always the same goddamn thing.
But the
it's
bottom
Golden
line
Disc
is
in the
this,
TV
man.
series.
When my son sees this on a commercial, he's going to look at it. He's going to look at it for about 3 seconds and shrug and go back to what he was doing. And you know
No,
what?
like,
That is like the opposite of the reaction you want from a little boy
yeah, that
for a
is.
Transformers movie.
That is. Tom, which of these two movies are you more excited? And if you had to give them a scale of like 0 to 5, 5 being definitely going to go see it, which one? The last two movies, what would you see? Transformers versus Suicide Squad.
Oh, I'm seeing Suicide Squad no matter what. That's
Are you going to see this one?
I'm waiting for the trailer.
No,
I still haven't even gotten around to actually watching Bumblebee. I just know for the most part it's gotten
it's
really good reviews.
Honestly, Tom,
I've got it. I
Bumblebee
just haven't
wasn't
watched
a
it yet.
terrible movie. Like the girl did a good job. The relationship with her and Bumblebee was more reminiscent of the male character from the G1 show to the Transformers.
Yes.
And they mirrored that a little bit. You know,
John
she's
Cena's
got
in
the thing of her father is dead, so
Yes.
she's got kind of a surrogate family down at the auto junkyard with, like, you know, the old dudes, and her parents or mother and stepfather are just flighty. So then she has Transformers adventures.
Yeah, and then Dash D says Transformers are vulnerable to anything over 40 millimeter in tungsten penetrators. That's what she said. Oh,
I would like to say that for those who are our spoiler button was not working when Jesse started. So sorry, everybody.
Well, not only that, like the other part too that's kind of interesting is there is a set of Transformers from G1 that didn't go into stasis. I think they were called the Insecticons, and they were in the first series.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I remember them, so they had to be, because I was never like really I liked Transformers, but if there was other shit on that I would rather watch instead, I would flip it. And like G.I. Joe, I liked even less. Like I just watched G.I. Joe to get to Transformers.
Really, G.I. Joe is pretty well done.
I like it, but I was a He-Man guy, and then it went from He-Man to Ghostbusters.
No, the real Ghostbusters is great.
Yeah, and then Ghostbusters for many years until
the real
Ninja
Ghostbusters
Turtles.
Is my favorite cartoon
2 years
overall.
Yeah, felt like many years.
No,
I've been watching it with my son, and I keep putting him on Instagram. I take a picture of the TV each time, like a boomer. But he points out all the coloring mistakes, like it looks like there's 2 Egons or 2 Rays or whatever.
But as far as like my main things, like, well, and then even then it was still Super Friends and stuff like that in there too, and you know.
Yeah, that's how it was when you were a kid, though, man. You were just waiting for the one you really wanted to see, so everything else became inconsequential, no matter how good it was.
I totally understand people who were really into the show, though. I totally get it, though.
It was so easy to like stuff when we were kids because there were so many good properties around.
Yeah, and if they go back to 1994, they better be real because everybody got along just fine back in 94. So I don't want to hear any, I don't want to see any smack talk of weirdness on that damn cinema screen. We went back in time and things were... No, they were way better. They were awesome.
Back when Ninja Turtles were made out of rubber. I don't give a shit what anybody says. They still look way better than anything they've done since.
Trenchman said,
costumes, yeah.
Trenchman says, great, now Bumblebee 2 will suck. I don't even know if we're getting a Bumblebee 2. That's what I was kind of saying before. I think
Bumblebee 2 now.
I think Bumblebee was killed by the whole the box office. It didn't do very well, unfortunately.
That surprised me because I thought it was a really enjoyable movie.
It was. That's the thing. As far as I know, critic-wise, reception-wise, it did well. And it probably did okay on video. But they just probably took... Here's the thing, guys. Unless Hasbro's having more to say with this, Paramount has no fucking clue what they're doing. And I've said this before. If there's somebody in the chat who actually works at Paramount, man, I feel sorry for you because...
Who wants to work there?
No, they lost all their creative force during the split.
Well, not just... It's all I ever hear is horror stories. Like, that's what's wrong with Ninja Turtles. They have no idea what to do with it. It's like, I'll tell you what to do with it. Give it to somebody who understands it. Like, that's why they keep fucking it up.
Mm.
It's not complicated.
No.
That's the fucked up part. Ninja Turtles is totally not complicated.
No. You got to just kind of try to find a way to not remake, but recapture.
Like, not for nothing. Like, if you work in Hollywood and if like Tom, let's say you've never heard of Ninja Turtles before, and I task you with working with the Ninja Turtles property, anything that you could ever learn about Ninja Turtles, you can learn in one damn day from watching YouTube videos. These people can't just like watch a video. It's too much.
Well, that might impede their creativity, and I use quotes for that.
Oh Christ!
No, I'm serious. Like, it's part
The
of
shit
like,
writes itself.
well, I mean, it seems like that, but once you actually get down to it, it's way more difficult. But the fact of the matter is that in the industry's current mindset of desperation for new voices, they are willing to forego people that actually know the franchises, because they figure, oh, a person that doesn't know the franchise, they'll have by default a fresh new take on it when they learn a little bit about it. That is not always the case. It just really isn't. Usually you just want someone who actually knows the franchise and then knows this well enough so that when they have a legitimate new take because it hasn't been done before. They know everything that came before that's been done.
Yeah,
So
see, that's my problem. Why does everybody think we need a new take on everything? Just like that whole idea. Just I want the old take.
Well, it means like, well, you have to kind of like define what is the old take. It's like, do you want just to do a remake of the original New Line film? But nobody in Hollywood wants to do that.
I want you to just continue the New Line films. Start after, so like, look, fuck Turtles in Time. Okay, everybody agrees. Fuck
Number
Turtles
3.
in Time, all right, but the first two, right after the pier, and they get back, and they do their little whatever party in the train station. You just continue from there. They haven't aged a day.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, it's entirely possible. I mean, my take would be like, let's bring in the Utron and finally do that story.
Yeah, there's a lot to do there.
And don't CGI the turtles. Just put them in animatronic suits and get some stunt guys in there.
I'm with you about halfway there. The Utrons, I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah, but that's how you get into Rock Soldiers and all that shit.
So, well, you can still do that with
X,
Krang.
yeah.
I'm a bigger fan of Krang. I think Krang has a bit more to work with. But no, here's my thing. Like this, I'm not adverse to remaking it or not. I hate using the word remaking, but just redoing it, readapting it, but doing it new and fresh, but just try to capture the same tone and style as the original film.
Well, the family heart is what really made that movie sing. Yeah.
Go ahead,
like, even if you went far out with a Ninja Turtles movie and did the whole Fugitoid and the Triceratons storyline.
See, I wouldn't.
Shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But hypothetically, I wouldn't either. But hypothetically speaking, if you did, I would still rather see 1991 Michelangelo facing these things.
Yeah.
You were going to say something, Mike?
No, I just think it's like what you're talking about. It's like the essence. All you got to do, all these people have to do is go back, watch the movie, and just write down what is the essence of this, and then just convey that and move forward in time with a new story.
Look, because I am a huge fan, and I'm not such a purist that, like, I know there's some people out there who are like, I hate the 1990 movie because it's not just like the comics. It's like, honestly, look at every movie we've gotten outside of maybe Watchmen. There is not one single comic book movie out there that is more true to the original comics. I beg you to find one for me.
Then what, Watchmen?
Besides Ninja Turtles 1990. Because even though there's a lot of elements from the cartoon in there, at least like, the bandanas, a little bit goofiness, some of the attitudes, stuff like that, it's tamed down violence-wise. There's shit that is directly out of those first 5 comics in that movie.
Other than the entire throwing his ass into the garbage compactor,
all bits of it, even Casey Jones and Raph, all that stuff.
Casey Jones is another huge problem with any movie they've done since.
They haven't been able to get him right
ones.
since then. Yeah, Elias Cortez just happened to whatever it was he did.
Elias Cortez, yes, he was great. He looked great.
Just had it. Whatever it was,
he had the charisma.
He just captured Casey Jones somehow. But
they used the kid that plays Arrow.
Yeah,
like, he's a fit guy.
I like the actor, but I hate him. He's not Casey Jones.
No. Casey Jones is like, stop assaulting that vending machine, lawbreaker. He's just
Casey
insane.
Jones is very dramatic, but he's like gritty dramatic.
He was a building super who went crazy. He just started putting all the stuff into a golf bag and
in cases
happy
where I would
trails.
probably embellish things a little bit more. And like, look, I already have like a whole trilogy planned out in my head. Like, it's real simple. And you don't even have to have Shredder be the main bad guy right away. Because he can be more of an ominous figure, because the first film you have it be more about the Mousers and Baxter
Stockman, yeah.
And that's how, because, well, guess what? Splinter's a rat. Like, they never really played. They play with that a little bit in the originals, but you can build this whole thing. And originally, April was his assistant, and that's how they met, was because of the Mousers in the original comic. So that would, too, pull it back closer to the original comic. So the first film, it kind of is more about that, where Shredder actually is just pulling the strings in the background more so. The Foot is present, but it's not as big of a deal yet. Then the second film you make, you bring the Rat King in because of the whole Mouser business. This guy got pissed about that, so you bring him in as a secondary villain.
The Purple Dragon, so that
the Purple Dragons are also there. Yes,
pulls the Foot in.
You can have that too, and that I have no issues with that. The Purple Dragons are a huge part of the story. That's another thing I would bring in, is like you said, like a competing gang, and then at some point they combine, and that's what you have. It's happened in the second film, is those two combine efforts, and then you bring out the Shredder in a revelation, but the Rat King being the main villain, and you could even possibly in the second film make Baxter Stockman into a fly, and have him be the secondary villain if you wanted to, and then the third film would be the build up to Shredder. The big battle with the Foot, the final countdown, introducing Krang. Yes, all that. That's what I'm saying. You build up
the
to
payoff.
That.
Yes,
you tease it in the second film, and you realize that more of a secret ooze revolution is like, wait, there's more to this than we ever thought.
And then we could bust our nerd nut and hope for a fourth movie.
Exactly.
And now you're a nerd. Now that we're talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh,
this is what I grew up on.
But like Casey's great because you can embellish his character more. What you do is you make him the son of a cop, and not only a son of a cop, but a cop who was murdered. So he's got a chip on his shoulder, but he never made it at the academy.
Yeah.
He was too much of a recluse.
No, he's crazy.
Exactly. So you have this whole kind of like build up with him of why he's doing this and what it's all about. And then, in the process, April becomes a reporter because she, finds a way to utilize all the shit that's going on around her, kind of thing.
Well, you could just say that she was a whistleblower for Baxter's
it starts there. Exactly.
And then that's what gets her into journalism, because she knows how to.
There you go. Script knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Exactly. And that it just works itself out that way. It plays into itself that way.
With Casey Jones, if he failed the academy, that would explain his physique a little bit, because he's strong as an ox, but he's dumb as a pile of bricks.
But not only that, he should also have had some jail time, and kind of like with the Dukes of Hazzard, he's legally restricted from owning firearms. So that's why he's got all the sports memorabilia.
And actually, in a rewrite, I would probably combine the Rat King and the Mouser story, to be honest with you. That would be the first movie, and then the second movie would be the Fly, and then bringing in Krang and introducing Bebop and Rocksteady, and the third film would be the final battle with Shredder.
See, the best Rat King thing I've seen was in the 2012 series. Because
the cartoon one?
Yeah, the CGI one.
Well, I always liked the Rat King because he was always trying to take control of the underworld of the city.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good combination, of course, with the rats and the Mousers, right there. That why is there such a big, huge rat population in this town? Well, it's because of the fucking Rat King. That's why. It kind of all works together,
In that story, it worked out well because it was supposed to be Splinter versus the Rat King. So, it's person versus person. But for Splinter to defeat the Rat King, he had to make it person versus self instead of, and completely ignore the Rat King. And that's how he got him out of his head and just,
Splinter's another one I would kind of sit down and kind of like with script, and I would like, how should we do this? Do you do it the original way? Do you do it the way they did it in the movie, or do you do it the way they did it in the cartoon?
I like the 2012 Splinter more than on any other ones. He was wiser. He had more of a.
Well, like, do you make him the human who turned into a rat? Do you make him a rat that evolved into a human?
Yeah.
That's my question.
You don't do the rat into Splinter, and you do the human into.
Because I've I mean, I have no issue with the original story, but I would not have him like. That's probably my biggest gripe with the 1990 movie is having him doing the shit in the cage. It's like all you had to do was say Splinter just remembered that when his intelligence grew.
Yeah, because as far as I know, Hamato Yoshi was dating a girl, and Shredder's brother wanted the girl, and he challenged him to a fight, and Splinter ended up killing Shredder's brother.
Yoshi
so then
killed
Shredder wanted to. Yeah,
in the original story,
Yoshi
Yoshi is still a separate character. But see, I'm not adverse to making Yoshi the rat. See, that's the thing. I have no problem with making Yoshi Splinter. That makes it more believable that he taught the turtles, in my opinion.
But it also makes it confusing because why would he adopt the name of Splinter if his name is Yoshi?
It is, but
because he became a rat.
So your name still this can be the same.
What are you going to do?
Well, because he
a nickname.
Well, for another reason is why would he just go? They could still call him Master Yoshi. There's no problem with that. But as far as Splinter, it's just kind of like a nickname or whatever.
Because he's a new being.
But no,
he's
I'm with you, Strip. And again, I'm not adverse.
A higher rat form.
And again, if you're going to do it, then I say you streamline it like they did in 1990. It's too fucking complicated in the original version. Because like Jesse was getting into it, it's kind of convoluted. You got the brother killing the other one, him killing the brother, and then him. It's a whole lot
of Shredder is the revenge
family dynamic
back
thing.
Like
you just keep Shredder the Shredder. I would probably just say have Splinter basically be a being that has an eidetic memory as a result of the ooze. So
that's what I was
observed and memorized everything that his master had, and that's why he's able to tell all these stories and be all wise and be able to teach his sons what they can do and why his sons can never lie to them because he has that eidetic memory. You just have some fun with that. But anytime one of the kids lies, I know that's not the case. You said exactly.
I can't get behind that. Because to me, that's still just a rat nose ninjutsu. And that's the one thing that bothered me about the original movie. I like just seeing the dude become Splinter. It just makes everything easier for my brain to just move on.
And see, I understand where Jesse's coming from too, and that's where my debate comes in with it. So, but Goddess of Whim says, my dad says with all the streaming services, there's no need to remake anything. That's true. There's actually an interesting streaming story that I'm going to get into at some point, but I don't think we're going to get into it today because we're already so far into the show. But because we got this other story too. I don't know if this is going to be something because we've had a pretty slightly positive show for the most part here outside of Transformers. So we'll see how this next story goes. But there may be something we have to say about that in the next few days because I think it was a Hollywood Reporter. I think it was that put out an interesting story on streaming services today. I thought it was funny. Nicholas Horton says Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation was set in the same universe as the original movies, and it did different villains. The rank, the humanoid dragons, and I know that, Nick, and I couldn't get into that fucking show. Just couldn't do it. Could not. I understand it. It does attach itself, but.
Did you ever see the Christmas special?
No, and I think that's not attached to the Next Mutation. I don't think that's attached to the music thing they did with Pizza Hut, and then that spinned off into its own thing.
It was totally epic.
Totally,
you must watch it.
Oh, I've seen it. Next Mutation, I've seen a few episodes, and I know the history that it started as Ninja Turtles 4. But one of these days, maybe I'll sit down and watch it. I know what's his face, Phaelus or whatever, has been reviewing the shit out of him. So
you're a patient man if you're going to sit down and watch that show.
My main issue is I just never got into Power Rangers. Like Power Rangers came at that point where I was now a teenager. Like Ninja Turtles was my last.
Exactly, me too.
My last thing from childhood. Like that was kind of the last. That's where my cutoff was. I didn't get into Power Rangers, Harry Potter, SpongeBob, none of that shit.
The only reason I know Harry Potter is because of my son's mother.
So yeah, that was my kind of cutoff there. But beyond that, I got to get kind of used to that aesthetic, and maybe I can get into it more. And if I do, I'll do some reviews. Maybe Nicholas, I'll tell you what. If I do give it a shot, I will do that. William Soba says it's okay for Tom to like He-Man more than other shows since it's his choice. Though I'm curious. It's 2021 now. You can come out of the closet. I am not in the closet.
Oh look, there's my tutu.
Don't look at it.
I'm a pretty girl.
I'll be pretty or so pretty.
The Turtles and the New Mutation, that's one where they introduced the sister, right?
I don't know if
Yeah.
she's necessarily an actual sister, but
She's something.
Yeah,
And
they
yeah, I
call
know
her
they did
Venus,
crossover
which
too,
is
yeah.
stupid because there's Polita, like it's about Renaissance artists and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like there's Lavina, there's Artemisia, Giovanna, but they go Venus, which is like the subject of an art piece, not an actual artist, which is stupid. So they didn't even know what they were doing there. And it's good old Saban.
Yeah, and she was actually going to be introduced in the Ninja Turtles 4 movie because a lot of that did come, like, it just got expanded into that series. And they just mixed it with the Power Ranger universe as
Well, Haim Saban bought the rights for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, maybe it's good they took a
As Nicholas
20,
pointed out.
30-year break.
Well, that's why I hate the 2012 films because in the 2014 film is because or 16 or whatever it was that came
It's
out.
just they look like
For
shit.
2014 and 2016. That's what it was. And you were talking about the 2012 cartoon then, Jesse?
The Nickelodeon one.
Yeah, I don't remember how they did that one.
Because there was one before then where they were drawn kind of more like beefy and anime kind
Yeah,
of.
I liked.
There was like, oh, it's a shell of a time. It's just like the most annoying thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I liked the 2000 whatever series, 2003, I think it came out.
Yes,
I liked it up until they went to the future and some of the Utrom stuff. Again, that's where like you get too deep into the outer space bullshit, and Ninja Turtles just goes off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it takes it from this place where it's believable to like, no, you've gone way past it now.
But the 2012 show did all of that, and they wrapped it back around and then just show without creating a paradox.
Well, what I did was watch like the first 4 or 5 episodes of the 2012 show, and I'm like, yeah, it's for kids. It's good enough. It's not shitting all over the legacy. I can't stand the zippy Nickelodeon nature of it, but it's mostly harmless, so whatever. Like I just kind of ignored it. Yeah,
it gets progressively better.
Well, my point was it didn't seem to cause any chasm in the fan base at that time, so I didn't have no issues with it. And to me, like I said, I knew it wasn't for me, and I wasn't. Why would I sit there and shit on it? It wasn't bad enough to shit on, but it respected the legacy enough, and people liked it. But what I did have an issue with was when they canceled that, which was well liked, even though I didn't like it, and they bring in that Rise of the TMNT shit, which was just fucking atrocious.
Why didn't they just play that concurrently? I mean, it's obviously for a younger audience.
I don't know. We talked about this a few times before, but I feel like they felt that version was waning, and you get past like 7 years in a situation with this, you get a new group of kids. Like that's kind of the every
so
7
basically,
years.
let's kill Optimus Prime and get Rodimus in there to sell more toys.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
from
other
the
thing.
past, people. It's history.
And that's another thing is, Script will tell you too, is like, the first series was an anomaly. It was an anomaly. They even knew, or at least they thought they knew, sitting down and signing the contracts about all this shit, because there's video of it, and they flat out say it in the video. They're like, these things usually have a 3-year window. And then fucking 16 years later, they're still making bank off of Ninja Turtles because it just won't stop.
Now, which one sold out their rights to it for like $1 million? Was that Eastman
That
or
was
Lard?
well, they both did, but originally it was Laird that sold it to Eastman, I believe.
So yeah, but Eastman I thought held on to everything.
No, what happened was I can't remember. I don't think he didn't. I have to go into the exact logistics of it, but Laird I think sold off his controlling interest in it, but he still had some other interest in it. But then when the deal came around for Nickelodeon, they had to have
Well,
Peter
they had to
sign
both of them
off.
sign for Nickelodeon.
Exactly. So, and it was a big deal for both of them. So it was kind of like, a pay.
No, I
big
think
payday.
Laird and Eastman still retain creative rights on those.
Let me get to that.
Yeah.
There's a catch to this because I actually know a lot of this, and I got to be careful what I say because there's things that have been told to me by people that'll out them. Like I know more about the Ninja Turtles than I let on.
You've said that before, doggone it.
I know, but I can't. I got to be careful.
I
what
know
I
where
say.
their layer
when you do
is.
that.
Okay,
Don't lead
what
the
happened
foot to
was
their layer.
they had a falling out.
Oh.
And that's when Peter walked away for a while. And like I said, he didn't sell off everything, but Kevin took over for a while. And then when the Nickelodeon deal came along, it was a good time for both of them to say, look, we can make a big bunch of money off this. There was some stipulations in there where they had a little creative control. They were able to publish a certain amount of comics in a year without having to go through anything with Paramount. And so they did, like Script said, they did retain some rights. Now, what happened, though, is I don't think they had any creative control over anything Nickelodeon did. But what happened was they don't know what the fuck they're doing there. And as I said, they kept not knowing what they were doing. They keep fucking it up. They brought back an Eastman on, what was it? I think that the TMNT show that Jesse was talking about. And then he was around and then I think they brought in Laird to help with something else. But now Laird is all he does now is just deal with the comics. He does he's the one who does however many comics a year. Like he's big in. Now they got together to do The Last Ronin though. So that's the big deal with that. So it's Eastman and Laird.
But it's still not all one big happy family again.
No, not really. They did reconcile. There is that whole reunion of them.
But they basically bonded over deposit slips, you're saying?
Kind of.
Okay.
And I hate putting it that way because I'm sure they do have a very good relationship now that the pressure's off. But that's kind of what happened was the pressure.
That's how creative things.
The pressure of the Turtles got so big. Like the Turtles got so big so fast that it was. You got to remember these guys were doing this shit out of their house,
right?
And that's why it's called Mirage Studios because there wasn't a fucking studio.
I think this is true. I think the most valuable collectors. Comic and video game are both Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, dude! If you ever got your hands
in the
on
original
Ninja
seal
Turtles
package,
#1, give me a break. You know how much that thing would be worth?
Well, that's because they only did.
I mean, of the modern era. I'm not talking like if you had
Yeah. No, you're probably right.
I'm like almost certainly sure I'm right. This is in the modern era
because I think
it's lifetime for video games for sure. I know that part, but in the modern era of comic books, it is absolutely. The most, in fact, their storyline arcs that you went over about 20 minutes ago, the whole detailed arcs that you went through, they're incredibly like blue chip if you happen to have them in your collection, which almost nobody does.
They only did a run of I think 2K, the first one, and then they had to go back. They kept redoing it.
That is like nothing. You know how many comic books get rolled up and stuck in a back pocket?
Well, that's why it's worth so much, Jess. It's because they're so rare. Yeah.
Imagine that, especially at the time, half of those might end up in a dumpster.
Mecha J asks, how good is Last Ronin? I hopefully will do kind of like a review of it here in a while, but it's kind of tough. I have to read the second and third books. I got them. I just haven't read them yet.
I'm down to do that with you, Tom.
Damn good. I can kind of tell. I wonder because here's the thing: going back to Eastman and Laird, because they are involved now. They have been brought in, and they do stuff like Script said. Because Eastman's still involved with the TV shows and stuff, but I think Laird he only works with the comic side of things. So that's kind of where things are at right now with that I know of. But Eastman said they have been talking about a Netflix-ish. If it goes to Netflix, I don't know. It probably won't be Paramount Plus, probably, because this was brought up before Paramount Plus was a thing. But he said they are in the process of working on a more adult, mini series. And the way Last Ronin came out and was presented, I have a feeling it's going to be Last Ronin. I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling. This is kind of a hunch that the way these things played out in the time frame of it, and if you look at the comic, April looks just like Linda Hamilton.
Or they could make $1 billion.
So I have a feeling that they're going to do well. Do you know the story of Last Ronin yet, Jesse?
No.
Oh, it's good.
I know that I'm familiar with Ninja Turtles, and that's
what really it's a modern tale. It's like the future, it's like in real time, like the old Turtles. All that shit happened.
Wait,
back in the day.
So April looks like Judith Hogg or Linda?
No,
Hamilton?
She looks like Linda Hamilton.
Why?
Because I think they're going to do this as a mini series, and she might be the one they get for April.
Oh man!
Because it's aged up that high. This is how far in the future this shit is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be connected to the 1990 films at all. It's going to be its own thing. I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, the past of the Turtles, whichever one you want to accept, it's yours. This is the future. You know what I mean? Whatever past you want to say, as far as whatever your Ninja Turtles were, doesn't matter. It's like you can attach.
So they're just going to do basically the Old Man Logan with it.
Yes,
and make another movie that I don't.
It's very watch. Old Man Logan, but it's.
Everybody loves Old Man Logan, and I just can't do it.
I understand where you're coming from.
I don't.
Jesse. I understand the whole process of how the movie compared to the books. I get you. But it's not as deep as Old Man Logan to where it's not. It's very adaptable.
Yeah,
Last
but
one.
heroes shouldn't get old. They should die doing something heroic.
Well,
before
that's
they get
kind
the
of what this
chance
is
to get
about in a
old.
way. I don't
Out
know
with
if he's going to
Jesse.
die.
Team
But-
Jesse.
But the basis of the story, without giving too much away, Jesse, is it's set way in the future, and there's only one turtle left.
And it's Raph.
I'm not going to say which one it is.
I know which one it is.
I think you just say you didn't know the storyline, smarty pants.
They've done this on TV.
Well, I'm not going to say if he's wrong or right, but you're mostly
They've
not
done
right.
versions of this on TV.
Sorta,
Anyway,
kinda.
moving on.
Yeah, because Mike's read it. You haven't read it yet, have you? Script?
No, I haven't read it. No.
You might enjoy it.
Tom,
The whole
last-
first
if you
comic is
haven't
really
finished
cool
it, we could deep dive that one. I mean, I'm down for that.
because there's going to be
whatever.
4 or 5 issues. I can't remember which. Right?
Yeah.
Is it 4 or 5?
I don't know. I know it's a series though. I know
Yeah, it's a
series.
mini series, but they're only up to issue 3, and I know 4 is coming. But yeah, the first issue you have no idea which turtle it is.
It's either going to be Raph or Michelangelo.
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh my god!
Okay. But the last big thing I heard about in Ninja Turtle comics was years ago, and it was when they killed Donatello by smashing him with the
I remember
sledgehammer.
that.
Then Bebop was just like, let's go get some takeout or something, like he didn't even care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I think so far it's good. I don't know it's going to end that. It's going to be 5 issues. Thank you, Slithering. I couldn't remember which. All right. You can't say that, Slithering. I don't want to spoil it for anybody because that was one of the coolest things. Is I guessed it right personally, but that was just out of pure my process of elimination.
It's a trick. The answer is Slash.
No, in a sense, before I even read a page of the book, I knew which turtle it was going to be for just because if I say it, it'll give away why, because you'll see my line.
I'll just say it. For
No,
the
no,
love
no,
of
no.
God, spit it out, man.
No. You got to read the books, man. Even if you get it digitally, it's cheap, dude. If you don't want to pick it up, if you got comic shop around there,
is it a good story?
it is a good story. If you got a comic shop around there, go pick up the first 3 issues.
When are the first 3 already out?
Yeah, first 3 are out.
Okay, so get the first print.
You should be able to. I mean, you can get the paper versions pretty cheap on eBay, but if you want one of the fancier
I'd
ones,
just go down to Richie's Comic Cabana. And
that's what I'm saying.
Wandering,
Just go see whatever
Connecticut.
they got, and you might be able to get the first 3 issues for like $15, probably 16 or $20 maybe.
Come on, Jesse, you can do it. Be a nerd. You're either a nerd or you're not a nerd. I don't know with you, this guy.
Oh, if I went through a period where I collected comics until comics stopped being good. I didn't start collecting comics till I was like 24, 25.
Yeah, and I was
have
gonna
like 5,000 of them.
I was
Oh,
going to
wow.
say this, but we got moving on in the conversation. Yeah, you're right. Werewolf. He didn't technically die. He got put into Metalhead. But
Anyways,
yeah. But yeah. I was going to say they did bring him back. I was going to say that, but we got past that already. So
Metalhead is cool. I just hope with the next iteration of Ninja Turtle movies, to wrap up that whole subject, that they just go full out fun. And just
I could
do
talk about
something
Ninja
big and
Turtles
bright
once
and
a
fun.
week. Like I could have like a Ninja Turtle stream every week, but anyway.
we know.
Well, here's the thing: I've had the crushing realization that if that documentary I want to make about the Ninja Turtles is probably not going to happen, and it's because of a lot of the shit I've learned trying to get it started in the first place.
Uh-oh.
And not only that, just the other shit I know, and it's just because Paramount's a bunch of assholes.
They
don't know
are,
what the
dude.
fuck they're
They're
doing.
total effing ass wipes, bro.
That is the worst place that the Ninja Turtles could have wound up.
It's sad.
How
Yes,
much is
exactly,
the IP
man,
worth
Squatch. I could talk about Ninja Turtles till I'm green in the face. What was that, Jesse?
now? How much is the IP worth now? And who do you think is the right people to buy it up?
How would they even know what it's
Well, they just
worth?
have a distribution deal with it.
I'm trying to remember what Paramount paid for it. I think it was 15.
$15 million they got Ninja Turtles for?
I got a pretty good deal on it.
Well, that's pretty cheap, considering the potential for money making.
October 2009.
Why is that so much cheaper than the Muppets was?
Oh, they made 60. They paid 60 for it. They paid more than I thought. Okay.
That's a lot of money.
I couldn't remember at the time. $60 million though. Is it worth that much anymore? Fuck no.
No. No.
They'd have to make a seriously
That seems really
popular
low, though.
string of movies.
Damn, that seems low.
That's less than the Muppets
They
was.
spent it $60 million. What was that? 12 years ago.
Yeah, that seems still very low for that time period.
I think that's kind of on par for that time.
I think Script's completely right.
Maybe, but when you got the movie that could potentially make $200-300 million, you'd think you can make at least $100 million.
Yeah, but there's nothing in recent history where that brand has been monetized in order to justify that. There's no way you could come up with that.
I know in the modern take of it, yeah, because like the thing is, you could hold up the first film and the second film previously as part of that. But
yeah,
I know the way these things work is it goes by the last however many things that have been produced and how much they produce, and that's why George Lucas ran into the problem with Disney when the money crunchers did the deal, because there hadn't been any movies coming out.
It wasn't even just the lack of movies. There's also the fact that Lucasfilm had a lack of proper studio infrastructure.
That too, yeah. There's a lot that goes into it, but yeah. I mean, honestly, Jesse, you could probably sell the Ninja Turtles for $100 billion now, because that's what the last two movies made.
And those movies are not well received at all.
But with Paramount,
they can justify a good exchange on that. But the problem that Paramount has right now is that they themselves don't have a proper management team.
What I was just going to say is, unfortunately, they could get that much for it, but it's not worth that much anymore. If anything, they've devalued the Ninja Turtles. That's the problem. They've done the same thing with Star Trek. They've devalued the properties to the point where if they tried selling Star Trek right now, they would never get what they want on it. That's why they never sell it.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's apples and oranges, though, because if you're talking like a Star Wars or a Star Trek, those are linear sequential stories. Mm-hmm. Ninja Turtles, it's all every single version of the Ninja Turtles is just a variation on a theme. So you could try and screw up a million times just to get one really good.
And this is why it pisses me off with Paramount.
Screwing up any mythos. I mean, you screw up Star Trek once, throw it in the shitter.
And this is what pisses me off about Paramount, Jesse, and that's exactly it. Ninja Turtles is arguably probably the biggest thing that they have besides SpongeBob, and they're neglecting the shit out of it, and they're mismanaging it to shit. Like, Ninja Turtles is a huge
I would argue they're mismanaging
franchise.
SpongeBob.
They are.
And they've never made a good SpongeBob game, and that's one of the most popular cartoons there's ever been.
SpongeBob is the problem with SpongeBob is they've wrung him out like a sponge.
Yeah, that the creator also passed away as well.
And then now you have that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The other part too is like, as I was mentioning yesterday on the Midnight Edge in the Morning, Paramount is going through a crazy turnover phase right now. So like people are leaving and people's contracts are coming up and other people are coming in, and yeah, they're kind of like ahead of the game with regards to the industry. So again, Paramount is suffering way more than it should by comparison, and that's probably because the powers that be are trying to fix what they can within the studio to get it back closer to on top. So yeah, Paramount's going to have a rough couple of years, but it's probably not. But they're probably going to be the ones whistling their way to the bank once all this stuff starts to happen over at Warner Brothers, when Discovery starts cleaning house, and over at Disney when a couple of other people's contracts start ending and completing, and they have to start filling in those positions, which oddly enough, even the word around town, there's nobody on the docket to replace some of the people that are currently the high ups at Disney. So yeah, there's going to be some suffering going on in the studio system of those big players over the next few years. Paramount's kind of like a year and a half ahead of them right now. So if they can get their act together by like 2023, things might look pretty good for that studio.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, and then you don't know, like if things got in place and they said, hey, yeah, we're going to buckle down, we're going to figure out a narrative for the Turtles that's going to allow us to take this through. We're going to figure out a narrative for SpongeBob. They're going to take another crack at all the other IPs they have. They might even consider doing Mission Impossible as a Paramount Plus series that isn't the Tom Cruise vehicles, but just like another IMF team, which has been talked around for the last year. So, you don't know. And on top of that, again, Paramount was the only studio the last 2 years buying up as much of the spec scripts, and those spec scripts are original ideas. They're not assignments. They're not existing IP. So they're doing that to build
somebody
content.
over there does not like Tom Rothman.
Yeah,
they're trying to compete with him. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, No, that you're right. But
And
yeah,
ironically, that's usually how these things work too. So anyway, go ahead, script.
yeah, but they're the ones that are trying to make a new catalog of properties right now. So again, we don't know how successful that's going to be. Again, management is changing. So all we can do now is cross our fingers that this might be the the sleeping giant, so to speak.
I
I
mean,
hope so, but it's really hard right now because they are.
wow.
Again, there's turnover going on around. People are are panicking all over.
If any studio has the okay, I'll give it you this way. I agree with you to a point, script, in that if there's any studio who has the chance to turn it around and has the proper, at least a handful of properties they could do it with, it's fucking Paramount.
Mhm.
But I don't know if they've got the wherewithal. You've got Kurtzman in the way, and a thing like Ninja Turtles and SpongeBob, like Mike was saying before, these are and Star Trek as well, are multi-platform properties. You can. They should be cranking out video games every year,
Yep.
a TV series,
Yep.
a movie,
Yep.
almost every other year, like kind
Well-
of thing. Like there's no excuse.
Well, Kurtzman's time is up. Akiva Goldsman has got his last shot with them right now because again, he's still got his contract with Warner Brothers with his Titan series. And technically, the word is that he's been focusing more on that and has only been visiting the writers' room for Strange New Worlds. He's not really doing much over there.
Yeah, well, we know that they're not. Well,
And
we know
I mean, the
Kurtzman and
person-
Paramount aren't seeing eye to eye right now. But yeah, go
a
ahead.
lot of there's a lot of stories that a lot of people in the board of Paramount are not seeing eye to eye with a lot of their show runners and creators.
Oh, do tell. Serious?
All I can say is that they're taking a close look at the numbers, not just with their network stuff, but also with the Paramount Plus and their transfers over, because CBS All Access is still active in some states. Right now, they haven't done the full conversion yet, but they're still taking a closer look at it, and they're basically this next year is going to be, I think the straw that breaks the camel's back. I think.
And why do you say that?
Well, for starters, Clarice isn't able to get co-financing for a second season, and a bunch of their miniseries, their contracts with Jordan Peele did not pan out the way they were hoping to. They did the Stephen King thing, which did not get well received. That was the the miniseries that they did, the Journey thing that's escaping my head right now for some reason.
The Journey.
And yeah, so like they're kind of at a loss, and they're also about 8 months away from dropping all of their original stuff. I think the only saving grace they're going to have is Top Gun Maverick, is what they're really excited about now. And if that ends up doing what they hope it does, that's probably going to be the direction they're going to follow. The Stand, yes, thank you, people in the chat. The Stand.
Oh,
The Stand did not go the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, I didn't see the new Stand. I only saw the original miniseries, and of course, I read the complete and uncut book, which is a little shorter than it by 300 pages, so not much.
Oh yeah, that Stand was totally set up to where they could continue it as a series, and that didn't happen.
Oh my god,
it's not going to happen.
Have you ever sat down and read that thing? By the end of it, it felt like a writing exercise. It's like they're in a town, and he's like,
"Here's the thing:
I'm walking across town to get a gas tank for the generator. So now I'm going to get I go into the shed, and now there's a gas can. I'm going to walk back across town with the gas can and put it in a generator. Move on." The book did not have to be that long.
I vaguely remember. Here's the thing: in high school, I read a shit ton of Stephen King novels, and the only ones I really remember reading are like Misery. And different seasons, because that's the one that has Shawshank and Stand By Me in it, right?
That's hilarious, because that's two of the Stephen King books that I didn't read in high school.
And
but together we complete the set.
I think I tried reading it several times. I read Cujo.
Yep.
I tried reading The Stand, I think, like once or twice. And
Shining,
every time
of course, right?
Yeah, I think I read The Shining, yeah. At least once. And I read, I'm pretty sure I read Christine and
Cujo or Pet Sematary. That's the
Pet Sematary I've read too.
Pet Sematary is a great beach book.
The other one. What was his first one? His first one was not Christina, the chick's name, Carrie.
Carrie. Oh,
Carrie, I
Yeah,
never
Carrie.
read. I only saw the movie.
And I remember reading that because that was like the first one. Either that or Pet Cemetery was the first one of his I read.
And the Gunslinger series, I only got to number 4.
What I was going to get to was like the Stand, and then the Dark Tower series and stuff like that. I just couldn't. I tried getting into a couple times, and I don't think I ever finished the Stand.
See, my father, he never read Stephen King, and then one day I was like, "You should try this book, The Gunslinger," and then he got up to book 7, but then he passed. I was surprised he jumped right into that, even though like he was more into cowboy stuff with all the far out weird stuff around book 3 where they're going through the forest and there's all kinds of robotic bears and stuff in the woods, and then they get on the train, and the whole series is just whack. Four Past Midnight, was it? No, I'm thinking of Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. And then Bryant Barth had a question here about Paramount anyway. Says, do you think Paramount wished they had Marvel? How would the studio do with Marvel? We brought this up a few times, and I'm sure a lot of people lost their jobs over that situation.
Actually, a lot of the creatives that helped build Marvel were out shortly after the Disney buyout. And that's probably why Marvel's been hurting so bad for the last 8 years.
Yeah, and then on top of it, I'm not.
Not Marvel, Paramount. Yeah,
I'm not above also saying that Paramount or Marvel would have probably been better off in the end under Paramount now that we have enough years under Disney's belt. Yeah.
No, I firmly believe that Marvel would have been better to stick with Paramount because when I was doing my internship there, they would have had a lot
more autonomy and been able to do more adult stuff. Yeah,
where did they would have done
they would have done the Demon in a Bottle story for sure. No questions asked about that. When I was starting my internship there before the split, they were negotiating all the Marvel stuff, and they were all asking us young guys about, what do you think about Marvel? I'm just like, it's a gold mine. Like, all we could say is like, you have so much potential, so many things you can do. You have adult stories they can narrate that you can translate to a bit more of a family audience without having to lose the value of what those serious stories were, because you have all these characters, Iron Man in particular, some of the stuff that's like Universal had the Hulk. So we were asking like, well, how are you going to work out of that? But apparently that was like Marvel's third party negotiations there. But yeah, like after the split and then all of us lost our internship jobs here, we would keep in touch with whoever we could. And yeah, like everything that was going on at Paramount with working with Marvel Studios was like really, really great. Like they had no idea where they're going to take the franchises. They were just trying to get those first 3 movies done and good. And they did better than what they expected. Even though Iron Man did bigger in the box office than Captain America and Thor, they were really happy with Captain America and Thor. And it was right after Captain America when Disney started coming up to Paramount's doorstep and saying, "Hey, that Marvel Studio thing, we want that." And negotiations started. And yeah.
Do you think if they had gone through not as like a main storyline, of course, but just like a side facet of the story, if they had kind of run through the entire Demon in a Bottle storyline so you could see the depth of how he fell, and then so you could see what his sobriety meant to him. Because then later when he sacrifices it to Odin, it means something, you know what I mean? It's like they miss out a lot when they skip over big things like that about characters. Like they could have just had more wealth and breadth to him.
Well, my theory is that Edgar Wright would have probably got his take on Ant-Man, which would have been the Hank Pym take and be like a past stuff. I also suspect that would have led into the Ultron being the actual like big saga that they were going to do. And what we'd be seeing now would be the setup for the Infinity Stones at this point. I don't think they would have killed off Iron Man or Steve Rogers or any of those guys as of yet. I think they would have been like, no, we're going to finish you guys off with Infinity Saga. They're going to do another 5 movies. They're going to pay them whatever they want, because by that point they would have been making over $1 billion per movie anyways. They could afford it. Paramount would be super happy with them. And on top of that, the cast would probably want to stick around because they would be doing a bit more serious stories within the comic book realm. Like, again, a lot of the reasons why Chris Evans has left and our Robert Downey Jr. left is that the roles weren't challenging anymore. and that's basically it. And the money wasn't worth the time.
Yeah, and
if it tastes stale, it's probably stale.
Yeah.
And Arturo, I see you. And the reason why I haven't really brought up the Sega movies or going along with this next chat here, because I was going to answer it here, is because Paramount doesn't have as much control over the Sega stuff or the Hasbro stuff. They are just kind of like distributors, basically.
Yeah, co-financers and distributors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so they don't actually co-own any of the
the
asset or the wait. So they
Not
don't
that I
own the
know
asset
of.
or the distribution rights. No,
just the distribution rights, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's it.
but they don't own any of the asset at all.
Hasbro is great stock because Hasbro is like the small end of the funnel.
Mm-hmm. Technically,
may
Disney
have-
doesn't even really own that much of Marvel. They just have a great ironclad contract with co-production and distribution, so they're considered like a pseudo subsidiary of Marvel. But another company could come in, or Marvel could choose not to continue their relationship with Disney at any time they want. It would just be suicide for them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but they
didn't know
wouldn't do
that.
that.
How would they do that?
That's like taking a poison pill with no
purchase stuff
dollar
out.
value.
Well, because again, Marvel Studios is its own company. It just has what Disney paid for was a deal with Marvel Studios, which we assume we view as like an ownership of them because it's a very expensive deal.
Right.
But it's not entirely that. It's a bit more complicated. But yeah, like for instance, there could be a point where, because Marvel makes their own money on top of, like, Disney takes a whole lot of money from the distribution deal of Marvel films, but Marvel also gets a little bit of that as well. But there could be a point where, for some reason, another company comes in, or Marvel decides that they have enough of resources to do their own distribution. They don't need Buena Vista, and they decide, oh, we're not going to work with Disney anymore, in which case Marvel would just do a buyout contract on the distribution, depending on how many years they paid for their distribution deal. Again, that's the other part too. Like, even with Disney and Lucasfilm, there is like it's taken away from George Lucas, but Lucasfilm itself is still its own entity, but it has like a very long-term distribution and production contract with Disney. So that's all complicated as well. It's really crazy, but there are points where, yes, some studios or subsidiary studios can buy themselves out or separate from the entity, or Disney could leverage debt onto those studios and sell them off if they wanted to. There's a whole lot of like crazy accounting terms that can be done, but there could be a point where, say Disney itself is in financial ruins, but Marvel still has a bunch of liquid cash in the bank. They could be like, okay, we're just going to separate from Disney now and do our own thing, and maybe we'll do our own
that's the only time that they wouldn't be. That's the only time they wouldn't be crushed like an ant for doing so.
Pretty much, yeah. Like now, they're not going to do it because, again, they have a huge stake in Disney Plus on the streaming side of things.
Yeah.
The odds of them ever separating are going to be incredibly low. Like, it's just not going to happen anytime soon. The only way it could happen is Disney has to collapse so bad that Marvel could just be like up and walk away and go over to another platform without any issues and take all the rights properties with them.
And speaking of platforms and all the streaming services, I feel like that we've reached like a peak, right, in a wave. And I think that it's going to just crash, and there's going to be a whole ton of new streaming services coming out very shortly. Do you think the same thing, or do you think it's going to be isolated down to this gatekeeper type of society where you're only going to get let onto this set amount of streaming services if you're in a club?
I think it's going to be closer to more of like a parallel to the old TV networks of that time. Like, you're going to have maybe a handful of actual streaming services that are able to be sustained by the subscriber base. And then you're going to have maybe your internet service providers or your cable service providers will buy their kind of like an affiliate package. So they'll have select programs or select shows across all the streaming platforms that you as a consumer can pay one fee for and watch without having to subscribe to those ones. But again, you're only going to get the select shows that they're going to put in that package. I think that's how it's going to go. And as I mentioned on yesterday's Midnight Edge in the Morning, I suspect that theaters are going to start changing the deals with the studio system in order to give themselves a bit more financial security, and allow any productions that are not going to be backed by a studio with a streaming service to be kind of like a platform in itself to try and negotiate a bidding war with those streaming services to get that feature film on their service, so that you attract new subscribers. Because that's going to be the only way it's going to work. Is it's not enough about with the original content; it's also about the hits that are not expected that they're going to want, and that's going to come mostly out of the studios that are outside of like the big four, so to speak. So like your Blumhouse, if they don't have really a, I think they have the deal with like maybe Netflix and Amazon right now. But if those deals don't apply to any of their newer films, and say they have another horror film that does like 100, 150 million domestically without a streaming contract for, the streaming services are going to fight over that movie, and that's going to be like the new model.
That sounds very closed off to me and not very good at all.
And then just to finish up Justin's super chat here, because I never did actually read it, Hasbro does have more creative force in Transformers. Bumblebee actually made enough money, and this new film is essentially Bumblebee 2. It continues the Bumblebee story. I hope you're right, but it doesn't sound like that. It really does. And I know that Bumblebee was kind of sort of a reboot-quel in a way, or prequel boot-quel. I can't even make one for this one. Pre-reboot-quel. Does that work? I don't know.
Something of that nature.
Something of that nature.
Mr. Roboto.
No more arigato. I'm hoping it's decent especially for the fans, because I know Transformers has a very, very huge fan base, and they're very passionate about it. And
they're not going to like it.
I mean, outside of the first film, I thought the third one was okay. That fourth one wasn't. Well, it was pretty bad. Never mind. Pre-boot tree squeakquel. Yeah, there you go, Prince Andrew, whatever. Yeah.
I want to know, there's a bunch of people in the chat. What's everybody think? Do you think that the Transformers audience is going to accept this, or just kick it to the curb? Come on, let's get some ones and twos going. I want some opinions.
Well, Transformers is one of those things kind of like, Star Wars, to where it goes beyond just the core fan base, and Marvel. It is that big of a franchise, but I just think it's been mismanaged so much to this point that the Bumblebee, although
Marvel is very savable,
like Justin just pointed out here, that it did make money, but it didn't make nearly as much money as the last few films, and the last few films had been going down, 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 and then when this one didn't do nearly as well as they were hoping, as kind of a refresher, Paramount is between Paramount and Hasbro, I don't know who's more in control, but I know Paramount is not good at making any of these kind of decisions. So we got a couple twos, we got a 3, we got a 666. Steven just wants to taste. Keep it away. And other than that, maybe it's just one of those franchises that's kind of past its prime for a while. It's Optimus Prime, maybe.
Yeah, but look at what Tekman Blade says. As a Transformers fan, I only like the first movie, the first live-action movie, and Bumblebee.
Yeah.
See how he refers to the first movie as the animated movie?
Yeah, I understand what he's saying, and he's an actual fan there, yeah.
Yeah, how come you can't make a live-action movie that's as cool as that?
Yeah, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a Transformer fan in the least. In fact, if there's anything I have probably nothing of in my house outside of the movies, and the animated movie and the series on DVD is Transformers. I don't think I have a single toy.
Oh, my kids got to watch Transformers.
And when I was a kid, I mean, they were just too expensive for my parents, I guess, because I always got stuck with GoBots.
Some of those
I wouldn't be
GoBots
surprised.
were cool
Transformers toys were expensive, and on top of that, like technically a live-action Transformers movie is just a more expensive CG cartoon. And that's
true, very true, because that's all it is. It's a cartoon made on a computer.
And honestly, that's why I didn't like the Bay movies mostly, is because once they start fighting, I can't tell one against the other.
That and the whole Sector 7 thing they introduced there, that was very childish.
There's all kinds of elements, but I mean, the first film is at least watchable for the most part. I don't like the designs at all. I prefer the OG designs.
They kept changing sizes too.
Well, yeah. There's too many.
I don't know how big I'm supposed to be. Sam Witwicky.
Yeah. 1 minute he's the size of the T-Rex, the next he's 10 feet tall. No, I mean, there's all kinds of issues with those. I have yet to watch Bumblebee. I do plan on watching it one of these days. I have the 4K Blu-ray. I just haven't got around to it yet. And
Something they got to
away I
reboot
get to
immediately is Mortal Kombat, because that thing just came out and went right into the ground.
I don't know. I did pretty well for him.
No, it had a bump. It started with a bump, and then sadly, it's not being talked about as much as they.
I don't care if it made money. It was a shitty movie.
Oh, well, that was, yeah, I would agree with it.
That's debatable. I mean, I've gotten into arguments with a few people on the movie itself, but I'm sure the franchise is going to continue for now as it is, because
one of my buddies, he was busting stones, and he he literally has plot armor. That's his special power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to deny there's some bad elements to the film, and I think you even sent it to me, Script, but I almost refuse to read it because if you haven't sent it to me, I almost don't want you to, because I know that this. Yeah, I'm sure the original. Yeah, I'm sure it's better. I'm sure it's better.
Yeah,
because there is probably. I can tell you there is a much better film in there, but I just don't see the bad in the bad film that a lot of people are talking about either. It's like, I don't know what they're expecting, and I know some people, and they're even in the chat now, they're going to get pissy with me as far as the continuity goes in the whole franchise, but it's a video game, and the original game has so many different endings, as does several of the other games. I know there was a through storyline at one point, and also I know that the first film, as much as I love it to death, it is... people just have they watch it with too nostalgic of eyes.
All right, I got the best of both worlds for you.
Yeah.
What if somebody made a Twisted Metal movie?
They've been trying to do that for like over a decade.
What Mortal Kombat got right is it captured the look of the characters spot on, pretty much from that time of the games that existed, pretty much. That and it captured kind of the feel, and the early CGI kind of was used to its most that you could at that point, and there's a lot of really great sets and all that kind of stuff.
Sets. There's surprisingly some character arcs. I mean, they're thin, but they're way thicker than what you get in the current movie.
I'm not going to
go out like a bitch.
But I look at it this way: that movie we got this year, like, to me, being R-rated the way it was, between that opening scene, some of the bits in it, I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's like if I had got that film when I was 15, when I got that original film, I'm not kidding when I said I would have jizzed in my fucking seat, because that was like, holy shit.
Yeah, but like the new Mortal Kombat movie, the first part of that movie with the backstory, that's the best part.
I don't disagree with you, and they flubbed the ending.
Like the thing that killed me. Like, has anyone not seen it? Can we talk about the ending portions of this movie a little bit?
The ending is my biggest gripe, because yes, the kid should have turned into Scorpion. That's. And he will probably eventually. I think that's what they're setting up.
Well, the kid does in the original script.
I know, because you said that.
What pisses me off is during the fight, the shitty dialogue. Scorpion just literally out of nowhere goes, "Now my name is a Scorpion."
Yeah.
Why?
I'm not gonna argue that, dude. But there's just as bad or worse shit in the '95 film too.
Just like, is Scorpion.
Look, let's be real. Outside of like fucking the dialogue we get from Raiden, who really remembers much other than "get over here," and shit like just random shit. The dialogue in the first film was horrible. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, this is the part where you fall down.
Yeah, that's a memorable line.
Like Johnny Cage in the first.
Johnny Cage does have
perfect,
but that's the best part, is we can go up from here, and that's what I said too. Because there's a lot of people who are like, "It's a movie about a tournament. We didn't even get to see the tournament." And yes, I would agree with you if it was like a movie that we know we're not going to get a sequel out of. But they even set up a sequel in the original film, so like here we know that they're going to continue. And to me, I'm like, okay, that's good. Now you've opened yourself up to where the tournament is still coming. And you got all this opportunity to introduce these characters, and I do like some of the things they're playing with in this universe. So I have things about it that I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's maybe not even an 8 out of 10. It's probably more like a 6.5. But
how come I can never get a reptile that's just wearing the old school green?
Yeah, those were $500 sunglasses, asshole. Everybody remembers that. Everybody remembers. Everybody remembers Johnny Cage's lines. Yes, I know. He's the only one who had decent fucking decent dialogue, though. But like all of Liu Kang's dialogue and all that shit, just fucking forced.
Oh yeah, Liu Kang didn't. Sadly, like, he's the main character in that movie, and he has no quotable lines. Like Johnny Cage's lines like, "Oh, I'm nervous. I feel outnumbered. Everybody wants to kick my ass. I feel like I'm in high school again." Like that's his outworld like experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Liu Kang, bro, he has all like the the good facial expressions and
Yeah.
the
Yep.
flexing of the shoulder muscles and the tendons and the.
Well, let's be real. That's why he
And
wasn't in the first
Maybelline
movie.
hair.
Because then that opens you up to getting somebody like a Ryan Reynolds to play him. Somebody who is that charismatic. Somebody who can come in and, shine for a little bit. Because then the main character now that they did their little storyline through,
Yeah, but that's the problem with Hollywood. It's like the
Johnny
same
Cage.
5 people can't play everybody.
But I mean, I know a lot of people
like Johnny Cage.
I
Again.
like the idea that they set up that, chances are we're going to see Goro and the rest of them back again because it kind of I like how they kind of set it up like a video game almost.
Yeah,
I'm not adverse to that. I
No.
really kind of have that. Like, I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here.
I just think if they shouldn't have invented the character of Cole, they should actually just made that Liu Kang story.
You're
Liu Kang
not
is-
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't that have made more sense? And how come
Scorpion, like he was in the original script. Yeah.
Like that was supposed to be an ancestor, and he had like I don't know, I didn't.
That's what it should have been.
Two of them together at all.
Well, yeah, it should have just been
just didn't
Scorpion.
like
it should have been Cole taking over the role as Scorpion, and he's the Scorpion. He just gets.
You know what it should have been?
possessed by his
It should have been
ancestors,
crumpled
whatever.
up and thrown in the fucking trash can and started over.
I don't know.
Because see all this. This is all
No.
too much changing to fix a
No.
fucking movie.
Oh,
I
come
don't know
on,
about that,
Jesse.
It's Mortal Kombat. It's not hard to start over.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I think there's enough here
You
that
can find
I
it.
enjoyed it enough, and it did well enough.
Me too. Come on,
So-
Jesse. Be a nerd again. You're a nerd.
Yeah. What you do,
I just think
is you rip out the first 10 pages and you keep that. Then
Well-
you throw out the rest of it and you just keep
Yeah,
rolling
I
like
didn't-
the first 10
the thing with
pages.
Jax, that was terrible.
I didn't like that, but I was gonna
his
say-
Kana was also his robotic arms. Is like
Yeah.
really.
I don't know. I mean, God damn it. You guys keep making me. I haven't watched it since then. I want to rewatch it. I hate you. I know once I rewatch it, you guys.
You
are
love
gonna-
me. Hate Jesse tonight. Hate Jesse. Don't love me.
Well, it's more Script Doctor does this to me all the time. As much as
What?
I love him, he always points out shit that it's like, God damn it.
Well, he's the script doctor. That's what he does.
I don't want to make you like hate the things you love. It's just I want to make sure that if
I
you're
won't-
gonna have your standards, like
There's
the
standards,
studios are spending so much
Look,
money.
beware
They
of
Here's
should
the
plot
difference,
not do
though.
these
It's
silly
not the
mistakes.
fucking Godfather, though. That's the thing.
No,
Like that's
that's-
what I can't get anybody to understand
The
with
script
this.
doctor's
It
job
doesn't
is-
matter if it's not the Godfather. They're spending, tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. You got to see that on the screen, and that comes in
Script-
every single minutia.
I'm the
Script
guy
doctor-
who will watch Ninja Turtles 3 still.
Okay, well, hold on here. Script doctor's job is not always to find the cancer that's wrong with the movie or property. The script doctor's job is to find if there's a kidney stone somewhere. That's what the script doctor does.
And I'm also the guy who'll sit there and stick up for Superman 3. Look, I get it.
Whoa,
I'll stick up for
whoa,
Superman
whoa,
3
whoa,
also.
wait, whoa.
I like
whoa,
Superman
hold on.
4.
Oh, no,
I'm
no.
doubling down on that shit.
Nerd
Jesse,
foul,
I don't
nerd
know
foul,
about that.
Jesse.
Look, man, he was the only one who kicked Superman's ass, was he not?
No,
I'll give you that, but still.
Superman has no threats. That dude was kicking his ass.
Troy Pacelli, how you doing, buddy? Says
Troy!
FFS, or for fuck's sake. We know that Hollywood spies and listens to Midnight's Hedge and Mead and stuff. What the fuck? Don't they just do the stuff y'all say? Because then they know. No.
Because then we know they have to pay.
Then
us.
they know we know that they know we know. I mean,
So
we
it's
They
all
don't
know.
want to
secret
know. They
probation.
don't want us to know that they know what we know.
Exactly.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Or they could
Yeah,
just
exactly.
hire everybody, whatever.
Well, that's would be. They could have cut out the middleman a long time ago. Let's be real.
You Hollywood nerd elites are talking too much fancy talk. I don't understand you.
Just call Andre.
I mean, if I got a phone call tomorrow from Viacom, like they're like, so and so's on the fucking line to talk to you, and then they're like, hey, we want you to come in, and they send me out there, and they have me talk to them about like this Ninja Turtle shit. I'm not going to turn it down, but I want to have control.
No, you'd be crazy. So he's gonna
I
put you on
want
a plane
creative
to go talk
control.
about
Well,
Ninja
obviously,
Turtles?
no, but I mean, I'm still a man of fucking morals and principles to where it's like if they're going to be like, yeah, but you got to make them like look like this, and you got to do this, I'll be like, fuck you. Like I have way too many standards for that.
That's when you
It's
got to
just
go, no,
I
that's
don't
stupid.
understand. I don't understand how this is. Like, I always had a dream long before I started doing live streams, when I was just sitting in, when I was just, sitting at home before I even really discovered YouTube years ago, and then I discovered YouTube. I mean, all you fine gentlemen, well, and Jesse, fine gentlemen. I love you, Jesse. I'm teasing. No, but I always said to myself, it'd be great if there was like a fandom roundtable. They invite like, guys like you guys and, here on the panel and, maybe some of the peeps, and like just 20, 30, 40 people and have like it's like a round table, virtually or otherwise, and just get feedback. I still don't understand to this day how this is the only industry that doesn't engage with or listen to its consumers directly. I don't understand because I'm in
there's
business.
such a wealth of free ideas, though.
I'm in business for myself. All my clients are businesses. All my clients are millionaires and 100,000aires that own their own business. All of them. They're all business owners. I have maybe 20, no, what do I have? About 30 clients that own probably about 130 businesses. Most of them own multiple businesses in either multiple locations of the same business or multiple businesses in different industries. Every single one of them listens to its consumers, its customers, its clients, whatever the hell. This is the only industry that has no direct engagement. Blows me away, Script. Blows me away.
Well, they do, but they do it in the wrong ways. They use Twitter.
Where? That's not direct engagement, Twitter. None of my clients engage with their in turn customers.
No, not yours. I'm talking about like Disney, like when you have like idiots out there fucking attacking, when you got James Mangold attacking fucking
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well,
I didn't mean
Look, that shit was funny.
But that's what it is.
The studio system has bought into the easy access of what the internet provides, so they don't do any of the groundwork that they used to anymore. And on top of that, there's a whole lot less studios buying original content these days. Like again, the spec market is Paramount's the only one doing it right now. Like the spec market is dying. Like I know a bunch of smaller production companies that are looking for all sorts of original scripts, but it's really hard to get through them, and it's even harder to get financing because again, financing comes through the banks. Banks need something that looks like it has a potential to a return on their investment. That means you got to get a named actor or a director. And those guys are really difficult to find available, especially for low budget independent works. So again, it's very, very difficult. And when on the studio side of things, because they're all basically owning all the IPs, they're not looking for original story ideas. They're looking for assignments. So basically, they're saying, okay, we got a Flash movie. So we're going to put out a call to a bunch of writers who are going to come in and pitch us their take on the Flash. And we're going to pick the one that's best in line with the message we want to get out with that film. And that's just how it works.
Conveyor, just like you're putting together a Model T over and over again.
To a degree, yes. That's the other part too. And the fact of the matter is that the studio system is far more comfortable following a trend that someone else has made the risk on than they themselves putting up the money to do the risk.
I think that's the answer script I was looking for when I asked you a different question. Okay, now I understand the question I asked an hour ago. That's the answer I was looking for. Okay, I get it.
See, my problem is I have like 3 or 4 different IPs kicking around in my head that I'm working on with my buddy Cool Skull, and it's like trying to get past the point of conception to actually try to get it to somebody. That seems like an insurmountable task. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's very difficult because again, there's no doubt in my mind that any writer off the street who has a good enough concept and a solid script can get it into the hands of someone who will want to make it. That's not the hardest part. The hardest part is getting the money to make it and then getting a distribution deal so that people will see it.
When you come up with an idea, though, is it inception or conception?
Conception.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought you'd be inspired, so that'd be the inception. But because a conception feels like
as long as it isn't indigestion or.
When I think of conception, I think of the actual like you're conceiving. I mean,
well, yeah, you're conceiving the idea.
I guess you could be conceiving the idea, birthing in your head. Yeah, I guess it works. You're right.
And then
I'm a word person. Sorry.
Like the other part too is like the mantra is
when
that
I can't
concept.
Figure out a word.
Yeah, like the mantra is concept is king, but what a lot of the producers that preach that fail to understand is that the concept has to have enough legs so that it can stick a landing. And there are so many concepts that I've heard that I've thrown around that sound great at first, but once you give it a moment of thought, you realize, nope, there's not a story here. It's just a trope, or it's just a new flash in the pan type of thing that doesn't have the staying power that the studios would need in order to secure their money back.
Yeah, but
And
now if you had a few of those, isn't it good to have like a couple of things to toss out there for bastardization later?
you would think, but again, like you're talking about a bunch of people that, unfortunately, that mix the people who are creatives with the big people who are business minded, and if they can't see the marketing potential and the ease of marketing it from the pitch alone, if they can't say what's the term, if they can't picture the movie poster in their heads, they're not even gonna follow through.
See, that's another big issue with people becoming disassociated from the audience, because now let's take us out of the equation completely. Let's look at the millennial generation. What are they like? Stupid shit that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
They like cat videos.
And it's not even fucking funny. So how do you pitch this to a studio person to sell to those people?
No, I got to interrupt because you were wrong, script. Thank you, Six, our lovely wrench in the chat, sent this to me now. Inception sounds like conception, but their meanings are distinct. Conception usually refers to the moment of becoming pregnant. Inception refers more to the beginning, to entering upon undertaking. Inception implies the start of a specific thing like a campaign or a company.
Huh.
From definition.com or from definitionvocabulary.com.
So then why the hell is that movie called Inception?
That's because it's an inspiring an idea. That's why. That's why
Well, that's
I know.
external.
Yeah.
That's an external action to inspire an idea. It's not an
Yeah,
internal
yeah.
action. To
Well, that's the
conceive an
thing where it
idea.
gets to me, and that's where I say I'm a word person. Like I pick apart words, and that's why I love the Spanish language, Mike, is because and the or Latin language in general, and then also with Italian, and same thing with like I love to compare them, even though I can't speak any of them. For some reason, I can kind of figure out words just because I can see words in there, and like I know that Inception, the core of Inception is inspire. Like that kind of a thing. That's where,
Right.
yeah.
But it's based on an external aspect of it. Conception is
You can
usually
still
an
use
internal.
it probably, but yeah.
It's inspire basically means you see something that inspires you to do something from that.
Well, I think it
Conception
also
means
comes
that
from
you can be inspired to have a conception, like they can go hand in hand. But a conception is usually of based on concept, which is root word for idea. So yeah, you just have to have an idea,
true.
which you can generate without any inspiration.
Well, in that case, then it still probably would just be a concept. Then I don't know if the word conception actually works. That could be the argument. Conception itself might actually mean that is what.
Well, conception is the act of conceiving an idea.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's an act of conceiving, I think, in general. But yeah,
Yeah,
you could be right.
I'm sitting over here thinking about Damon Wayans in prison. Do you remember those skits?
Oh yeah.
Wait, which ones?
But he's like, you got the
keeping
regurgitation of the
man down.
emancipation.
Yeah, the emancipation, inception. Yeah, like this.
Oh, where he's trying to be like
conception, reception, deception. Yeah,
But he can't even read.
He's making up words and shit. Yeah.
He still doesn't know why they don't let him out.
I miss In Living Color.
I know, it was so
Me too.
good.
We used to be able to just make fun of
now
shit.
I remember.
Those first 3 seasons
Yeah.
were pretty solid.
Yeah,
But
they
he's-
only had a couple of sketches that weren't good, like Head Detective. I couldn't stand. That's like pretty much it.
The head detective was shtick. That was what it was.
Yeah, the head
Yeah, it
detective
was.
was kind of stupid. There was a few that. Well, that's the thing. What's sad is Keenan Ivory Wayans. His skits were always the worst. That's the thing, and I think that's what really kind of killed the show in the long run. Is that everybody he brought on was much more talented than he was.
Like
he's a director. He's not really much of a writer or stand-up. He's a director.
But that was the thing is it was supposed to be a fucking vehicle for him, and his kid brother and Jim Carrey ended up being the fucking stars. So it's like,
Yeah, but dude, if your kid brother is Damon Wayans, just let it go.
well, what are you gonna do, right? I get you. Like, but that's the thing is at that point, that's when you're right, script. He should have shifted gears and made them more of the. I mean, he kind of did to a point, so I guess I can't say that he didn't, but. I have to go
after
look
that
back.
first season, he became primarily the director of the series. Like he would come out, do his like little monologue thing, and then go straight into the sketches. That
Yeah, he was
I
the
was gonna say
host.
you're right. Yeah,
He was
well,
the host
yeah,
more,
because like
and he
that
was
first
the-
season is when all
The head
that
of the
shit started,
Jamaican
yeah.
family too.
Because his skits were always to me okay. His skits were always and you could tell who wrote what skits, guys. Because I'm sure it was a lot like SNL. His skits always seemed to be like bad SNL skits.
Oh, like the buttheads, yeah.
Yeah, like the Toonces, the driving cat kind of level shit, which I love Toonces, don't get me wrong, but Toonces is actually SNL making fun of itself. It's so fucking meta. You have to understand. At that time, SNL had reached a new renaissance. Okay. That era, that is the only one I'll put up next to the original 5 years, is that, let's call it the, what would it be? The Phil Hartman, Dana Carvey era. Right?
Oh,
yeah.
I miss Phil Hartman.
It's actually more of the third or fourth age, but like as far as casts go, but like it was just that era because you had Phil Hartman and Billy Crystal just left.
Yeah, Dennis Leonard, Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey, Mike Myers was just coming in. In fact, Damon
Chris
Wayans,
Farley.
I think, was even part of that cast for a little while, to be honest with you, if I'm not mistaken. And then he left and then went over to his brother's show, if not vice versa. Because I'm pretty sure he was on SNL before he went to In Living Color, wasn't he? Or was it the other way around? Damon Wayans.
No, he was. Yeah, he had a very short stint.
Yeah, very short.
Yeah.
So he was part of that, and then Chris Rock came in at some point there too, and Chris Farley was where it really set off. Yes, but Chris Farley came in a little bit later.
Came in 91, right?
Yeah, he came in just a little bit after because I'm talking
the
like
motivational speaker is still like
I'm talking like
the comedy.
What it would be like the 88 or 89 season, maybe 87 season.
10-year. He was just after the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, he was, but I'm talking about the era I'm talking about starting. Because it would have been after Martin Short. It would have that stuff was good. Don't get me wrong, and same thing with Eddie Murphy. All that stuff's good, but you had this second renaissance with SNL, and that started.
Yeah, it was a completely different flavor.
With Phil Hartman and Dana Carvey are the two primary sources of that.
Well, let's see who we have here. Jesse. Well, isn't that special?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was definitely 86, 87 season. Maybe even.
What do we have here? Santa. Let's just switch these around. And it's Satan.
Well, let's see. Jesse just turned off his camera. Could he be in the back fornicating with one of Satan's little dominions?
I love those.
That's a pretty good one.
Well, let's see now here. Let's go ahead and leave that camera on. Let's put our little hands right on the table where everyone can see that.
Yeah, Goddess of Women as well. She says that's how I classify the 80s, the Hartman Carvey era, the Silver Age. Now, was that 86, 87 season or was that 87, 88 season though? That's what I'm trying to remember.
That was 86, because again, Dennis Miller was the head writer for the Phil Hartman and Dana Carvey.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I remember he
doesn't have a change until
he was the Chevy Chase of that era. But
Sandler and
Adam Sandler came in much later. And I still consider
that's like the bookend for.
There's still that's the bookend. I the cutoff for me is when Will Ferrell cast. When they took out all their old cast except for they still had a few leftovers. But yeah, once Will Ferrell kind of came in, like you gotta have your Chevy Chase. You go by whoever you're Chevy chasing. And at that time, Dennis Miller was set up to be the Chevy Chase, but he didn't really do shit for skits. All he did was the Weekend Update.
Well, no, the head writer does the Weekend Update. They don't.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah. So but I mean, Chevy used to do some of the skits though. That's the difference.
Yeah, then they asked him to stop.
And then same thing with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd because they didn't start doing that until I believe either it was Dennis Miller or whoever it was that did it before him in between there. I can't remember. It wasn't Charles Rocket but he did some of the skits too.
It was Julia Louis-Dreyfus's.
Julia Louise was on there for a while with.
Yeah,
she was on the same channel as Charles Rocket though, wasn't she? Because he's the one who said fuck on the air and he got booted. And it was during a Weekend Update. I'm pretty sure it was during a Weekend Update.
Well, I know it was her husband that was the head writer who did the Weekend Update, the blonde-haired guy.
C. Thomas. I know. We can talk SNL.
You are right on point because in 89, 90, that's when Lovitz and Dunn left. So they were pre that. Yeah, you're talking 87, 88.
See, Lovitz was a leftover from the Crystal era.
Yes, and what you're coming in, it says Chris Farley and Spade came in 1991.
This is how I classify it. You have the OG you have the OG 5 years. Yeah. Then you have the Murphy Pescopo years. Yeah. Then you have the Martin Short Crystal years.
Yeah.
Then you have the Phil Hartman Dana Carvey years.
Which is what we were talking about.
And then you have the Chris Farley Adam Sandler years.
Yeah, so that starts 90.
Then you have the Will Ferrell years.
Yeah, which is
95. And then it goes to fucking shit. Years. And then he goes to shit after that. Exactly.
Then Tina Fey.
Tina Fey was kind of but she was part of Tina Fey. Okay, you could call it the Will Ferrell Tina Fey years. How about that?
Well, Tina Fey just carried over longer after Will Ferrell left.
But my point was she did have a lot to do with that era. I'm not going to take that away from her, but she was probably the second.
And then when she left, that's when the show really went down.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, from there on, like Jesse said, nobody gives a fuck. Like blah blah blah. Nobody cares
The
anymore.
only guy I like on that show is the guy from Keenan and Kel.
I guess it would be you have the if I really had to stretch myself,
Keenan Thompson.
Yeah.
it would be the next era would be the what's his face who has the Late Show now.
Oh, Seth Meyers.
That's the Myers and the other guy that's in the Suicide Squad, the doofy looking fucker.
Oh, Davidson. Yeah.
Yeah, the Davidson Myers years, I guess.
Well, no, because Davidson came in during the Colin Jost right now. Because Colin Jost
so he's
took over.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I didn't watch it script. So
They're both from Staten Island.
Now I'm guessing.
Neither of them, I think, are very, very good at what they do.
But I know Pete Davidson was one of the more stronger voices. Yeah.
Well, Pete Davidson. I don't know what it is. He's nearly killed himself 4 or 5 times with drug overdoses. Yeah. Lauren Michaels has a soft spot for him for some reason. I've seen his stand up. I don't think it's all that great. Like,
I've heard some horror stories about that guy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to say. I don't know. So yeah.
And Colin Yost has married Scarlett Johansson right now, and basically she's just got him as a full-time dad for a kid because she's doing her own stuff right now.
And Darius, you're not wrong. But I did warm up to Will Ferrell, but I ended up liking Will Ferrell outside of SNL more than in SNL. Like I really don't like any of his characters on SNL that much.
Well, his James Lipton was pretty good, and his Harry Carey were pretty good.
What I'm talking, his Harry Carey's great, but I'm talking about I don't like all those stuff that he's pretty much made movies out of too, like the head bopping guys and
The Night at the Roxbury.
I hate the fucking cheerleaders.
Oh, God.
But
they annoy the shit out of me. You want to talk? You know what? Let me tell you this much. Before I heard the term Latinx, the only thing that triggered me more were them damn cheerleader skits on SNL back in the day.
Oh, he and Anna Gasteyer did the whole they did the songs, musical songs. That they're like middle-aged to senior citizen couple singing contemporary songs at a rec center or a school. That sketch was also pretty bad.
I like The Ladies Man with Tim Meadows.
Well,
that was a decent sketch, but terrible film.
That's what originally inspired much of Mexican Iron Man's dating life, Jesse, just so you know.
Is it?
Oh, jeez.
Well, it only makes sense.
So sorry for
Yes, would you like to come over to South Carolina where I have me some Cabotier? You can come up. Hold on. You can come up over to the new internet studio that Mexican Iron Man has done built for himself. We have some Cabotier.
Oh shit! There's over 200 of you watching, and we're almost to 200 likes. If we can get that up to 200 likes, that'd be awesome. Yeah, and I know a Mexican Iron Man loves that.
If we get to 200 likes, Mexican Iron Man will open up an extra bottle of virtual Cabotier.
Yeah.
So we can enjoy some Cabotier.
The only thing I really remember about the movie was when the girls were fighting and he just pulls up a chair and starts eating popcorn. I respected him.
In which movie? I missed
in the Ladies Man movie.
I actually like the Ladies Man. I did like the Ladies Man.
Yeah, 2 of the girls start fighting, so he pulls up a chair and gets some popcorn.
That movie was better than it had the fucking right to be. I watched it. I watched it when I had the video store, so I got the preview copy, and I'm just like, whatever. So I popped it in, and like 2/3 of the way into it, I'm like, this is actually pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, who else was in that? Griffin?
I can't remember now. It's been a while. I think I got it on DVD, but I don't think I ever bought a Blu-ray. I don't know if it's ever even been out on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah. Like Will Ferrell did the Celebrity Jeopardy, which is probably one of their highlight sketches of their entire time.
See, and Keenan Thompson isn't even one that I really cared for ever either, because whenever I see him, all I think of is SNL. No, it's just, or not SNL, Nickelodeon. I mean,
oh man, he's been on SNL for almost 2 decades.
I know he's been on there forever, but
he's been on there longer than Daryl Hammond.
I don't hate him. I never really thought he was. He's kind of how do I put this without sounding wrong? He's a very vanilla fucking comedian. He's
okay. Safe. There's a market for that.
Very safe. And no, I agree. I'm not trying to bag on the guy at all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to. No, he's definitely.
Dude, Black Jeopardy, like the Tom Hanks episode, awesome.
Okay, I mean, I'm not going to say
Black Jeopardy.
I'm not saying he's not funny at all, guys. I'm not. I'm just saying he's just like very like plain Jane. Like, I don't know. like you said, safe is probably the better word. But I hate,
He's safe. Listen, he's got a great thing over there. He doesn't want to do anything to lose that.
Well, I hated using the term vanilla because I don't mean it in any racial like fucking thing at all.
No,
I just mean it in plain Jane,
bland.
and not bland even, more plain Jane. Just kind of like he's that guy. You get one of those comedians every so many years. He's not the biggest thing in the world. He's good enough. He's not, he doesn't stick out like all the other guys normally would, but he's not a Chris Farley. He's not, I mean, I don't know how to put it. He's kind of one of more of the just like
he's
regular.
a not ready for prime time player.
He definitely is. He definitely is. Fits that. And I don't, it made sense when he was brought to the cast. I've never bitched about it. So, I mean, don't even get that out of it either. So, All right. Dark Shadow. Thank you so much for the super chat. I like these. Says my favorite SNL skit was the Tim Meadows as Ike Turner doing Weekend.
Oh God!
Oh my God! That is a classic
Those were
one.
gold. Oh, talk about an undersung hero in SNL. Tim Meadows. He was there forever.
Yes, what a champion Tim Meadows was. But oh my God, Dark Shadow, that is awesome.
Not only
Tina
that,
Fey
Forgot about that one.
It takes
Tina Fey
balls
has
to
been
be
trying
Ike
to
Turner.
help get him exposure for years because Tim Meadows is like Tina Fey's inspiration, and for some reason it just hasn't taken. And I liked Tim Meadows. I was actually just thinking about him the other day. It's like, what has he been doing recently?
he's really great. That's the thing. He pops up in just like bit parts here and there in movies and shit all the time. I think he's on that one TV show right now, or at least I don't know if it's still on anymore. But is he on the? Trying to think. Somebody tell me in the chat if you can remember what show he's on right now. But pretty sure he's on a show, on a streaming show.
Who knows?
Hillis Mallory says, so SNL is still a thing. Well, it was for the last 4 years. Now that Trump's out of office, I don't know so much. I'm sure their ratings went in the fucking tank.
Whatever are we gonna make jokes about?
Exactly. Like
Comedy and situations.
He's on
And
the Goldbergs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He's on the goal. I knew he was on some show right now. I knew he was on something. That's right. But I think he's on something else as well at the same time. Now that I think about it.
He's in a cartoon show with I think Will Forte.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Crap.
But yeah, he plays the one. Was it the teacher or the counselor or whatever it is on the Goldbergs? And then I swear he's on a streaming show though too, because I remember saying one time, I'm like, Jesus, he's on like 2 shows at one time. I remember saying it to myself. God, what is it? Let me look it up.
I don't know. Look it up.
Unless it is that Netflix. Is that cartoon a Netflix thing, maybe?
I think so. It's called No Activity.
That might be what I was thinking of.
Oh,
No,
I
it's
see.
Paramount Plus. It's Paramount Plus. Sorry.
Or something like that, yeah. Because I remember seeing that, and then maybe, I don't know. Let me
Oh, I
look
see.
here.
Jesse has turned off his camera again. Could he be in the back doing fornication?
No, just my annoying cats.
I'm just messing with you, brother.
He was really good in Dewey Cox, too. I forgot he's in this. See, that's what I'm saying. He's on all these little bit parts here and there, too. Oh, and who's that guy that was in Popstar? That was the other guy that was in SNL.
Andy
Oh,
Samberg.
sorry.
Yeah. fuck
Yeah.
him.
Oh,
Yeah, the Sandberg
Yeah.
and what's the face era. And yeah. Maybe that was the time I was
Dude,
thinking
one of the
before.
funny skits is when he plays a DJ. When he did that DJ one. Do you ever see that one? What, DJ? No, you never saw that one. Never.
Oh, you mean Andy Samberg? Probably not.
Yeah.
I checked out in those years.
All right.
I've seen those sketches. I also seen, of course, the whole birthday cake.
It must
on
be
the
No
ground,
Activity
putting
is
the
what I'm
dick in the
thinking
box and
With the dick in a box. That's what we need. We
cut
need
a hole
Midnight's
in the
Edge
box.
after dark. We need Midnight's Edge after. That's what we should give to our channel members as a benefit. Top tier,
A
Tom.
dick in a box?
No,
dick in a
no, no,
box.
no, no. A dick in the box kit. No,
a dick in a box kit.
No, Tom, no. A dick in the box kit. So we ship it to them, and it comes in a flat
I mean,
envelope.
mine's not much to brag about, but I sure as
No,
hell
no,
ain't
Tom,
fucking
no, not your dick.
sacrificing it.
No,
for
no,
a
we're not. No, we're not.
dick in a box.
No, well, no, we can't send it to
No,
all
what we
300
could
channels.
do. We
No,
could
no,
do
we
is
send them a
actually
thing.
put dildos in there.
No, Tom, no.
That would be
No, it's-
expensive.
Oh my God, you too. No, it's flat cardboard, and then comes in an envelope script. It comes in an envelope, right? And then everybody on the show signs them, right? And then you pop it open, and then it's ready to go for home use.
You mean
And
there's
then
like a hole in it?
And then everybody can give, for their special holidays or their special somebodies. Everybody has their own dick in the box to give out. See,
So
No.
it just has a hole
when
in
we
one
cut-
side of it, so that and it's already got a bow on it and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a kit. You just open it up. It'll come like in the Amazon store. We can sell it on the Amazon store.
I got two questions about.
We're gonna make millions.
All right.
What?
First off, are we selling these in various sizes?
Well, yeah, you have to have various entry sizes.
My second question is, when we cut the hole in the box, let's say if we use a utility knife, cut a hole in the box, we got to do something to smooth out the hole.
Yeah, it's got to be a
so that we don't
pre-fashioned
get
hole,
sued
actually.
for paper
Okay. Here's the way we go. Here's what we do. So the box has 4 sides, right? Okay. It's got 4
Box
sides.
has 6 sides.
6 sides, yeah.
Well, no, because it's
not a
1,
cartoon
2, 3,
box.
4. Oh my
No,
God.
it's a 6
All right,
sides.
so we're gonna do a
Boxes
head
are 6
gun
sides,
box.
and one of the sides is a lid.
Oh, you guys are making this
Aren't
much
you
more
an
complicated.
accountant?
Okay, anyway, all right. Dyrus is like, can you choose what kind of box? Pizza box, cannoli box, Chinese box? Okay, you guys are getting too complicated in the chat. Look, Dyrus or
They
Dyrus?
all have 6 sides to be a box.
Okay, fine. It's 6 sides. So each side has a different size little punch out hole, and depending on your personal size, you just punch it through. You just, because with it's like
So it's kind of like a
perforated.
drink from the
Okay, well,
exactly.
exactly.
Okay, if we're gonna
It's
do
like
that.
a
How much?
It's like a soda top, right? You just punch it through, right? You just say, wait a minute. Do I go with, hold on. You're like, do I go with the pencil size circle? No, okay, no, you spin it around. Okay, do I go for the thimble size circle? No. Then you go to the next side. Then you're like, okay, wait, this one's about as wide as a quarter. I'm still not there yet. Then you go to the big one, which is the kind that you can pull speaker wire through. Then the next one, which is the final one, which is the 6th one, is the one where you can actually like put like a YouTube microphone through, like a Yeti mic.
Yeah, but if you don't use the last one, she's gonna know it.
Look,
And besides this, to
look,
be
the Midnight
comfortable, you don't
Says
want
After
bigger
Dark.
holes than just for your
Listen,
shit because you're gonna
listen,
have to flop your nuts into this thing to make it stay on.
Look, the Midnight Edge After Dark is not here to tell. It is
It's
not
about
here.
logistics here.
Look, we're not here to change the world. We're just here to help the presentation of the world we got.
Oh,
Okay, you know what I
shit.
mean?
Dash
It's like
D-
Mexican Iron Man. I'm not the hero you guys probably want or deserve, but I'm the one you're gonna get. Okay, I mean, I'm free. So
All
there you
right. Dash D says Glory Hose you use duct tape to line
Here,
the hole.
there we go.
Fix told me.
But how
Dash
come
D
you could say
told-
that in a super chat?
Okay,
Oh
so that
my
means
God.
either Dash D is telling the truth, or
True.
or he's in trouble.
Look, I don't keep a cordless drill and a hole saw in my trunk for no reason.
Yeah, probably we're still alive.
Yes.
We've been having
Get
fun
Ross
just
in.
go. Oh
chit-chatting
God! All
and-
right. I think we got to go out on a high note with the Midnight's Edge After Dark Dick in the Box members top tier benefit.
I don't want to know about your private conversations then. Holy shit. What was that? I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I was just saying that we can go out on a high note since we've just talked about if you upgrade to the top level, you get a Midnight's Edge After Dark Dick in a Box home kit. So,
I'd almost be happy to take it back because I hated that era of SNL. Speaking of, that's what got us here in the first place. So I'd be totally cool with that. But yeah, I don't know. But if you're going to do the perforated thing, you don't have to do it on every side. Can't you just do like different circumferences and perforations and then you just punch out the one you need?
exactly.
Like you
On
have,
the
like
one
you
side,
said,
yeah, probably.
just on the one side. Like you said, you start with whatever size lead up to BBC or whatever.
Right, and then if you flip it over, it's in Spanish. Pinga en una caja. So then
we can do that. Why do you? Yeah, well,
I'm just trying to build bridges here, Tom. That's why you have me here. I'm building bridges.
you
Right,
put it
Jesse?
on the same side. I don't care. I'm trying to think of how to do it the cheapest.
Jesse's horrified with me.
No, I'm
Jesse's
just
looking at
thinking
me
of
like,
a more practical way, like saying, here's a box, it's got a ribbon on it. Now take a razor or a scissor and cut a hole the size of your shit.
Okay, now we are getting into structural integrity here. This is important.
Yes, it's got to be a corrugated.
All right,
box.
I'm done. I'm throwing mic
You're
drop.
right.
I'm
With
dropping
that-
my mic.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
dropping
done.
my mic.
We're done. We're done, kids. I want to thank everybody for hanging out for almost 3 hours. Almost 200 of you were here the whole time. We had quite a few more than that here before, and we appreciate that. You guys are awesome. We had some fun tonight, and hopefully we'll have some more on Thursday. I think we come back again and do this, depending on what's going on in the main channel. But yeah, outside of that, we got Midnight's Edge Espanol on Thursday as well. Tomorrow we got Midnight's Edge in the morning. We got, I think, Chris Gore's coming on with us tomorrow morning. Outside of that, I know we got a video coming up at some point once I get to it. Gosh. Other than that, is there anything you want to plug, Script Doctor, you got going on right now? I know you've been busy with other things, but
No, nothing. Just thanks
I got a
for
plug.
hanging out.
I know you do. I know you do, Mike. You got all kinds of plugs.
Oh, ha ha. Okay,
One
you know
of them
what?
has a tail.
Okay, you know what? You know what? That's pretty funny.
Okay, look, Paulie, no glory talk here. First of all, it's HERE. Or here, like no glory talk. Are you doing it in like what would it be like?
Spanglish. It's
Like he doesn't
Yeah,
listen to
Spanglish,
it?
like or whatever. Yeah, I was looking for the term.
See, that's
yeah.
what happens when you're not Midnight Stitches.
No glory talk here, like that. Yeah. Like he's sitting there with his fingers in his ears. Yeah, that I can believe. That I can.
Well, I got a weird thing to plug. So this Thursday, I'm going to be on the Cardinal City channel talking about the UFO report that's getting released on Thursday by the
Ooh.
Pentagon.
Oh, sweet.
It's getting released Thursday morning, and Mexican Iron Man has been following this issue hot and close, baby. So I'll be there. Thursday 7, right before our show, I think. Are we on at an 8 or 9? What time do we call them on? No, it's 5 o'clock Central. I'm sorry, I screwed up. 5 o'clock Central. So it's right before Midnight Edge After Dark.
What channel was that?
Cardinal Sin. So we start here usually what? What time do we start here? 8 o'clock usually? Yeah? 9, 7?
I think it's your time. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 o'clock Eastern, I think, if I got it right. Anyway,
Tonight
was fun.
ABC
Thanks, guys.
Sunday night movie.
Oh,
9/8 Central.
and Script, don't listen to Tom. You keep finding those kidney stones in different properties and scripts, okay?
Oh no, I'm not trying to discourage him in the least.
Yeah, if I put in
No,
Cardinal
no,
Sin,
no.
it just leads me to like so much heavy metal music.
No,
I still
it's-
think like Superman 3 has
I'll
one of
send you
the
the link.
best Richard Pryor drunk seeing himself in the mirror moments you'd ever see on film, where he's just walking, he gets scared, and it's like brilliant.
There you go.
Tom, did you want me to contact Amazon about our new Dick in the Box promotional deal, or should I wait?
Well, as
Oh, wait.
Cavatino Captain Shay just pointed out, the instructions are in the song, Mike.
Okay.
Also, for future knowledge, you could also do this on dates with the bucket.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. The Marcus Zorro watch party starting on
Yeah.
on Thursday morning. I'm gonna try and pop into that for sure if I can.
That's
get
going to
out.
be awesome, everybody. Join us. It's going to be epic. I think that's what, noon?
Was that the
That
first or the
really-
second one?
Or no, I'm saying noon Pacific. Noon Pacific.
Yeah, but Mark, was that the first or the second movie?
Mike, not Mark.
Oh, the Marcus Zorro, that's the old black and white one.
Oh, Mark
Oh,
is
the
over.
old school one?
Yep.
Yeah. Like the old original 1920 one.
I used to watch the television show with my grandmother.
Because
yeah,
it's
with
public.
Duncan Ruger. Yeah.
Because I should point out, since it's public domain, we're actually going to be
Oh,
showing the
yeah.
film at the same time. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's a lot easier.
Exactly.
And Paulie's a great host on these watch parties. He does such a good job. I've attended now 3 of them, and he's a great host. He's a lot of fun to watch movies and concerts and stuff with. So check it out.
Awesome. Mike Beats Dicks asked Tom, MEAD radio tonight? Maybe. I got a video to edit. That's the only thing. Like, I mean, I got a million videos to edit, but there's one specifically I got to get on. So,
MEAD Radio After Dark.
tempted to just go start one right now so I can get it done and over with and then work on the video.
Sounds good to me.
Just slam some coffee.
I still got some invoicing to do tonight. I still got 2 or 3 more hours of work. So slap on the MEAD Radio. Midnight After Dark.
That's the thing. I
Radio.
need something to eat.
There's always something to do.
Who delivers pizza right now?
Oh, I hate fucking Pizza Hut anymore. I'm so sick of Pizza Hut. I got 2/3 of a pizza sitting in my fucking fridge because when my car conked out, well, it didn't conk out on me, but I was afraid to drive it because I had the engine light and I was having some issues. I was like, oh, what do I get to eat? Nothing in this town fucking delivers except for Pizza Hut. So I was stuck eating Pizza Hut. There's literally 2/3 of that pizza left because I just couldn't do it. I ate enough just to be like, I'm done. And nope, couldn't reheat it. Didn't want it. Yeah.
But like, I've had enough of your fluffy, weird pizza.
I just, it's not horrid as far as pizza goes, but when you've had it
That's a horrible beginning to a description.
so many
for a pizza.
times,
It's not horrid.
Basically,
thing.
pizza is becoming a part of you at this point. You've eaten it that much.
yeah. No, here's the thing: is I love pizza, and I will eat pizza almost any time of the day of the week. I don't have to be hungry to eat pizza. Okay. Like, there's just certain pizzas though where it's like you have levels, okay? And you have to understand Pizza Hut is in the sub level of good pizza, okay? It's decent enough if you're fucking starving. Like,
As
but if
long,
you
look,
want to,
pizza's got to be more mozzarella than it is dough.
thank you. Well, there's a Jesse, you understand me, and this is why we should get hetero married.
At least there'll be tax benefits.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Let's get gay married for the insurance.
Exactly. Well, we understand each other. We don't have to have sex. That maybe a Dutch rudder now and again, but
I don't know what that is.
It's
Time to looking up some gay shit.
Yeah, it's pretty gay.
All right, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
About to hide under your sombrero.
On that note, oh Lord.
A Dutch rudder. You never seen Zach and Mary make a porno?
Breathe, Tom,
No.
breathe. Medic, script doctor. We need a
Dutch
virtual
rudder is where you take your arm and you wrap
script doctor. He needs help.
your arm around your buddy's arm, and you grab your dick, and he grabs his dick. Each other's arms, so it's like somebody else is working.
This doesn't sound like a good game plan.
It's a
No,
joke.
it doesn't.
It's a fucking joke.
Oh my God, I think we just lost 500 subs.
We lost
I
all
don't
of
know.
them.
That's not what Man the Pump is.
We just lost 500 subs.
How have you not seen that movie? That's great.
That doesn't sound great.
No,
Not the
it's
act,
actually
the
kinda
movie.
sad.
That sounds like
The
something.
movie.
Latino slant, pretty gay.
Yeah, right.
Polly.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love
How
you,
am I
Polly.
the only one here who's seen
It's
fucking
so
Zack and Mary make a
undignified.
porno? How am
Oh
I the
no,
only
I've
one
seen
here?
it. It's just
Yeah.
sad.
Script,
Yeah.
no, don't tell me you've
Jay
seen it.
comes out of the room and he's like,
Oh, I don't
naked
hate
and
it.
shit, and then in like every scene, and then the one part he's like, "You ever do a Dutch rudder?" He's like, "Oh, you don't know what a Dutch rudder is?" Okay, and then it just does what I just told you. So,
Yeah. You know, down here in the South, we don't have them kind of unclean thoughts. Y'all just, making my mind not very pure tonight.
Mike beat sticks.
And on that
It's
note,
in your name. It's in your name, right? So, yeah. Okay. I think we killed it.
I think we're done here.
I think we're done here. I want to
Sometimes you
thank.
just gotta
That's
beat a
better,
dead
okay.
horse.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here, guys.
Oh, what a show! It started so slow.
Oh God, thank you so much, guys. Check out Mexican Iron Man. You got anything coming up you want to plug? You said you
Well, I
wanted to
just
plug
mentioned
something.
the show, the watch party on
Yeah,
Thursday
the watch
over at-
party. I wanted to let you finish. Sorry.
Yeah, so we got the Midnight Edge watch party with Polly. Check out Latino Slant. Go over there. I'm sorry, are we doing that Midnight Edge in Espanol? I can't remember. Latino Slant. Help me, Polly. Put in the chat. I know we got a watch party coming up, and then later that afternoon before this show, I'll be doing the UFO disclosure report on the Cardinal Sin channel. So anyway, it'll be fun. I'm into UFO stuff. I know I'm weird, but
Well, that's not weird at all, man. I was on High Strangers for a year and a half.
Oh, hey.
There you go. And Jesse, speaking of, congratulations, buddy, on being monetized.
Yeah.
When's the monetization stream coming?
I don't know, maybe this weekend.
All right. Well, let me know. I don't know if I'll be around too much this weekend, but let me know. Mecha J says, time to end the show now. That's right. And with that, check out Jesse Miller at the Crow's Nest. I think you just shared. Yeah, you did just share your link.
Trying to
there.
beef it up a little bit so I don't drop below the number.
There you go. So head on over there and check out his stuff. You never know. You can stream with Jesse. He throws the link out in the chat. But now that you're monetizing big time, are you going to be able to do that now?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, there you go. I'm just kidding. And on that note, somebody say something.
Something.
You know what? No matter where you go, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing. You are 100